markets and personal finance. You know, I'm not going to lie. I don't like the glare that I seem to have on my face today. That just seems atrocious. But hey, we're going to make some money today, guys. We're going to have some fun. All right, so what do we see here in the markets today? Overall, it's not too much about what we see. I think it's just overall about where people's heads are at and making sure that they're making the right decisions and that they're following through on the right habits and the right strategy. At the end of the day, we are almost a week into this spree to the upside. And this is certainly where trading discipline can slip, where making the wrong moves can happen. And I want to make sure that we don't do that, especially with our community. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about different technical setups and different ways to approach today's current market. And we're going to do our best to identify more critical areas of the market to enter or better trade setups to take. In today's episode, we're also going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals. We're going to talk a little bit about traditional markets. We're going to do our end of week Forex wrap up and look at live trades and take your chart requests live. So let's get cracking, guys, with today's episode. All right. I feel like, even though my phone beeped and I do see two of my staff members in the Breaking Bitcoin live chat, I do think we're okay. Let me get the live chat pulled open here, and we'll get off to the races, guys. So I won't make you just watch me. I'll do some monologue here in a second. I don't have the live chat pulled up. So let's get over to markets, at least intraday, so we can look at something. All right, come on now. There we go. We have power. We have power here. We are good on DLive. I see us on DLive. Don't really want notifications. All right, we are live on Twitch. Things are good, and we're also live on YouTube. So I want to thank everybody who came by yesterday for yesterday's live stream. It was a really good one. I appreciate you guys smashing the like. We had good likes on that video. Let me see if we had any comments that I'd like to respond to today. Oh no, just a spam comment. And you got 15 replies. Breaking my heart. It's all right. We get the, you know what's cool is when I see people go back through and comment on old videos, like when Mr. Ether does that. It's really cool to see. All right, so everything here is fine. Let me know if today's show is shadow banned. With only 36 of you guys in here, it is quite possible. Okay. All right, I have ye old live chat. Things are good. Actually take Discord off of always on top and put the live chat there. That will be very, very helpful. All right, so who do we got in the YouTube today? Damian Hughes, B. Kempster, Longbeard, David Rice, Jordan A. Crypto Jack, Cheap Vlog. We've got Professor Wally in the house, Tom P. We have Jordan A. Cheap Vlog. Let's see here. Mr. Unicorn, thank you so much for being a member of the YouTube there. Adachi, Swing Trade Pros, we have Evan in the house. Hey, was that the OKEX guy with Justin on the interview? Yes, yeah, he did You're Now Watching Breaking Bitcoin. Let's see here. Subtextually in the chat, asking if we are going to break down or break up. Kyle Mitchell, Crypto Caveman, and the Restream bot as always. If I missed anybody, it's only because I can't look at that chat all day. Over on DLive, do I see anybody on DLive? Anybody watching us on DLive? 5 people are watching us on DLive, so shout out to you guys there. Let's go ahead and put 50 lemons in the basket there, I think we'll start out with. And even though there are people that watch us all the time on Twitch, I just don't know how to reward you guys. I just don't know the cool things to do on Twitch. I'm sorry. We will get there eventually. But thank you guys so much for watching. Now we can head back over to the scene that I'm not done with. Here we go. So this is going to be the promotional scene. This is about as far as I got with it this morning before we got kind of subsumed with trading and talking, as we will when we're looking for trade setups. But this is where I can utilize different banners and different images and show you guys different stuff, talk about you know, our courses talk about what we do and just have a little bit more leg room. So, but until that is done, we will utilize this scene. So there's got to be definitely something that I can do to take that down. Ooh, not that. Tell you, not that. If I take the brightness all the way down, you guys can't see me. It's just such an annoying glare, and I've never seen the glare like that before. So I'm gonna take this brightness down, boost it here. Nah, that looks like crap. Well, we're stuck with it, guys. We are stuck with it. Yeah, that's about as good as we're gonna get it. We're not gonna mess with it. All right. So in today's episode, today is of course the 6th of November 2020. So we have a lot going on today. Probably the biggest news in the market is obviously the blue wave with the announcement that Biden is most likely going to assume the presidency of the United States now, or at least that is certainly what the news is. That is what all of the mainstream, that is what all of the unstream, right? Mainstream, backstream, they are all saying this. This is the largest news generally on traditional markets, on traditional news media avenues. And lower contrast. Well, if I do that, is that better? I am not, clearly not an expert here. Just doing our best. The Canon is still broke. It's so sad. I'm looking at it right now. Or at least I cannot get it to work with Camlink 4K. So, you know, if any of the staff would like to team viewer in and adjust my camera settings, they certainly can. But we will be here making trades just fine. We'll be okay. So, I don't really care too much. As you guys know, I think that the correct approach is still focusing on ourselves. And I really like to do that for our Friday. I think there's going to be a lot of channels, a lot of content creators, a lot of people in general today are going to be focusing on what is happening to them, right? They're in a responding mentality. Whereas for myself, at least anyways, I work best and I flow the best. I achieve the best results. I accrue the best profits when I am focused not on responding to events, but when I am focused on executing my will and getting closer to my goals through the application of something that I've created or built. And this is what I love about systems trading, and I think what you guys love about this too. It really is, of course, we can talk about the fundamentals. I posted a very long market analysis last night. So let's go look at the trades yesterday, how they ended up winding up as we went into the daily close last evening, and then my updates from pretty much midnight last night. And we'll get into the live stream. So let's get into trading, guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions, anything you guys would like me to go over. I'll certainly show you what's on my mind. There's some interesting stuff from a technical perspective. We're just watching the chart. You guys will see this in just a second. So let's get going. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I did make somewhat of a last-ditch attempt to monitor or adjust the camera settings here while we were going there, and I think if my white balance doesn't make me yellow, I think it's not too bad. I think it's actually not too bad. It's better than it was before. Yeah. Okay. So now we're not gonna be neurotic about the way that we appear on camera all day long. You guys ever wondered what it feels like to live stream? It's not a good position to be in, particularly if you're self-conscious, right? Might just be a little bit. All right, so let's go quickly here to Bitcoin. Obviously on the weekly, it does look like we are going to be closing that another weekly bullish candle. So this is going to be our 5th consecutive weekly candle that is going to be closing to the upside, and again, expanding volatility. Just a fantastic move coming out of Bitcoin this week. Any Bitcoin hodler, any Bitcoin investor is really enthusiastic, and it really hit me earlier today, this morning, that I realized, you know, it's starting to feel, and I mentioned this in the trading room this morning, it's starting to feel like the August 2017. August 2017, kind of moving into October, that was a wild time. We had the user-activated soft fork and Bitcoin Cash split off from Bitcoin, there was that huge debacle, not only on RBTC, but r/cryptocurrency, r/Bitcoin back at that time. There was a lot of contention in the cryptocurrency space. There was an entirely different set of people, and the centralized institutions like Binance and OKEX and Huobi to an extent, they were just in their infancy almost at that time. You know, Bitmex really only became popular in early 2018. So, and it wasn't really until November of 2018, I would say. Yeah, November through March of 2018. But November 2018 to March of 2019. So the breakdown from 6K, 9K, and then price going down to 3, 4K for quite a long time. Those were trialing times. And that's when most retail traders figured out how to short and discovered platforms like Bitmex. But my point here is that there was a point in 2017, as price was just pushing to the upside, where, you know, you kind of realized, and for me, it was after we broke above, it was really when we crested this high right here, because we had never, ever broken our previous high until we then just broke that next high just several weeks later. And then we just broke the next high several weeks later. And it just kept happening, and happening. And you reach a point where you get complacent. It's a part of the market psychological cheat sheet. You get complacent with your position because you are so deep in profit, or it's just so kind of ludicrous what price is doing, that all you can kind of do is be happy if you're a hodler. And being a Bitcoin hodler has certainly been a fantastic ride and journey for the last few times. So just kind of wanted to say, a lot of you guys have been with me on these live streams for almost several years now. And, you know, going on over a year. I know many members in the Discord have been with us for 18 months. There are individuals that have been with us since the very beginning, since we didn't even have a Discord server, since we were just on Telegram. Yeah, old school. Since before our trading journal, since before any of the pathways to profit courses, since before any of the premium indicators, since before, you know, in befores. So I want to thank you guys so much. And it does appear, again, if we are going to go on this next wild ride, whether or not that means Bitcoin is doing what it's supposed to do, kind of from a fundamental or from a kind of crypto anarchist level, if it's restructuring society and individuals are using it to achieve more freedom and we're using it to make society better and more transparent with our economic activity, that's great. But no matter what, just for the price ride, guys, if we are really going on this ride to 20K, it's been an honor, you know, and it's awesome, like, doing this with you guys. You guys are a great crowd, great group of people, and I couldn't have asked for a better community to trade this away in. So with that being said, weekly time frame, we are going to have that strong weekly candle close. The longer we continue to push up, this is the most obvious thing, and it really only needs to be this simple. I see people putting too much stock in, like, the flavor of their analysis, right? Generally, it's simple, guys. Higher highs and higher lows. We're in an uptrend. There are areas where we can look to short that. There are going to be corrections, and there are good indications of that, and we'll go over those. So you guys know what they are. We found several of them yesterday. We are pretty overextended from our baseline. That means price either has to continue pushing up, meaning expanding volatility, meaning open value has to continue to rise to support the bull run, or we are going to correct pretty significantly. All right. Why would individuals choose this moment to blow me up on Facebook Messenger? Makes no sense. Anyways, moving on. Let's go down to the 3-day then, actually. The 3-day blasting past our previous TDST resistance line. We are on a 3 of 9. This weekly candle, however, just opened up yesterday. So we've got, it will be not tomorrow evening, but the following afternoon when we close that. But again, just continuing on, blasting right through there. Blasting right through that ISA spot sell signal as well. So the 3-day charging along. The only thing here that we can utilize is just overextension. Those are the technical considerations, but no setups to short or correct on either of those time frames, right? On the daily, we do start to get a little bit more indicative. We are at the second of the 3 take profit areas that I had laid out for Bitcoin's price. And again, using fib extensions to get those levels, as well as previous levels of heavy volume, heavy agreement in the market. And again, as I've said the analogy many times before, areas like, for example, utilizing the volume profile, areas of high volume, areas of high horizontal volume, so areas of high liquidity, are areas where a lot of buyers wanted to buy and a lot of sellers wanted to sell. So there was agreement on price. And when there's a lot of agreement on price at a certain price area, price likes to stay there, right? So when you reach areas of heavy volume or previous resistance, can act this way often, they act like a train station, right? Price is a train, and trains like to hang out in train stations and refuel and get polished and all that stuff. But when you enter areas of low liquidity, areas where there was not a lot of capital traded, that means there was disagreement between buyers and sellers. Sellers wanted to sell much lower and buyers wanted to buy much higher. And because of that, nobody was really willing to put their money on the line at that area. And that's why we get thinner books and price moves up with expanding volatility. So the on the daily time frame here as well, we have still yet no exit signal from IFT RSI. So that is going to be, since we actually broke above into the overbought territory, this is going to be our 27th day of being overbought on the inverse Fisher transform applied to the RSI. Okay, just for your reference, the settings that I have here are the defaults: 5 for the RSI length, 9 for the smoothing length. This is just this is the smoothing of the inverse Fisher transform applied. And what the inverse Fisher transform tries to do is prevent something that occurs in momentum oscillators, which is where they will often get pegged in violent uptrends like this. So for example, Minx is a pretty good example. Minx can get pegged because Minx calls tops so well when it does, that when we go into a violent uptrend or downtrend, but uptrends are worse, it tends to get pegged up to the upside. That's usually when I'll flip and start using parallax, is a better indication, especially on the higher time frames. The kind of key thing as well, let's get down to the 4 hour and just look at what's been evolving. After we concluded basically here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a whole day, right? So that's 16 hours right there. And we're currently closing the fifth. We're currently closing the fifth 4 hour candle, right? So the last 20 hours. So the last 20 hours over the last day almost, we've consolidated, right? And this is exactly what I saw last night before I went to bed, before I posted that analysis. That was about 12 hours ago now. So I'll show you guys what I saw. It wasn't really so much anything here on the 4 hour, but again, let's compare Minx here on the 4 hours, what I'd like to do, and parallax, right? And explain why flipping, especially in these situations, can help, right? Normally we have Minx and parallax on here. Let's get rid of Ichimoku here real quick. Even on the 4 hour time frame, we have not broken down between below any of our significant moving averages. We are very, very far away. Look at the spreading here of the 21 exponential moving average from the 55, indicating that volatility. But look at Minx here. So for example, this is kind of what I'm talking about. This is a less good example of it right here. These are not the best signals. However, if we go and look at this area right here, this is just almost silly, right? Now, this is because the default settings for Minx, this is designed for the daily. So our length is 10, our noise line is 4, that's going to be our signal length. And very importantly, our static filter, right? The static filter is the algorithm within the algorithm of Minx. So if you guys don't know, this is a very important setting. This is going to catch reversals on any time frame or any kind of shift in market momentum generally before it happens, right? It is not as efficient as the Voss oscillator in actually predicting a movement 1 bar previous as the Voss does, but it is very omniscient. It is very kind of freaky when it gets things right. But if we're down here on the 4 hour and if we're getting pegged, the reason why is because our settings are not optimal to this market structure. Minx is going to do fantastic almost anywhere, but we can see that just one of those things. This is what the inverse Fisher transform is designed to prevent. But interestingly enough, the application of the IFT RSI that we have and that I'm using to trade doesn't do that very well. And because of that, it's a great indicator. Does that make sense? Like if whoever programmed that went in and coded it correctly, because ideally an inverse Fisher transform is supposed to significantly reduce the quantity of overbought and oversold thresholds that you have, or signals that you have, so that you get really, really good signals. So we could do all that, or we could just simply not repeat old work and look at parallax here. The moment parallax went overbought and then recovered and closed back below, price was pretty much done going up. Now that was an indication to be careful. I came down here on the hourly, and then I'm going to show you something else here in a minute. Here we can see the hourly just descending down. We are trading down. I wouldn't call this. Let's measure it out. Let's see what you guys would call this. Let's do some chart patterning today. I'm just going to do the line of best fit here. Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think this is? Do you think I've drawn this in properly and we really have a descending channel? Is this a falling wedge? Is this a flag? Is this a pennant? How would you guys trade this? Would you consider this bullish, and would you consider this bearish? Meanwhile, I'm going to come up here and holler at my friends in the live chat. Wally, why are you telling my secrets, bro? He says here, Mr. Unicorn, I am actually, Justin, me, I am actually Jesse Powell from Kraken. But I don't like people to know, so keep it a secret. You know, I got to meet Jesse Powell. And I'll tell you this. Cool dude. Cool dude. But you know who's even cooler than Jesse Powell? The guy who illustrates and creates Bitcoin and Friends. His name is Robert. That's cool dude. All right, so let's see what you guys think here. I think I'm gonna ask in the Discord as well. I think that is germane. I'll go to the members lounge and ask in here first. So the question is, what chart pattern do you think this best resembles, and how would you trade this? You know, that almost kind of sounds like the cheeky thing that one would post on Twitter, right? Maybe it's because I just did post that on Twitter. Oh, man. Ah, shoot. I tweeted wrong. Well, I only know how to write with a bird, okay? So, you know, I actually got to use my hands. Yeah. It's like a baby's toy. All right, so we'll select the image here. Yeah. Boom. All right. OKEX, we're now breaking your Bitcoin, says Blue Box Territory. Is that a Red Hot Chili shirt? Crypto Caveman says. It is, sir. Bury the cannon under your tomato. Smart play. Damian Hughes, you're beautiful, my brother. Just jinxed it. Check DM. So Johnny Boy Crypto just sent me this image. Let's see here. Whoa. I want to position here better so I don't have to continually move for you guys. All right, so the picture here, let me bring this into our browser. You guys can see this. Boom. So DHS announces election audit sting after contentious U.S. election sparks confusion and outrage from election skeptics. All we got to do is go to, well, not deep.web anymore, but all we got to do is go to the, if you guys open up Microsoft Store, if you have Windows 10, there is an application you can download there. I think for free, maybe it's $1 or something, but it's called Live Radar. And that essentially allows you to tie in to any public video camera. And there's a lot of those in urban areas where there's lots of people. So all we have to do is just watch for burning cars. Just watch for throngs of people. More than 14 million ballots. And 80% of them have failed ballot integrity checks. I mean, there is a lot of, there is overwhelming incentive for either candidate to do this. So I will just not remark on the fact that this was already a narrative from the right wing. This would be the narrative of any losing party. I don't know how that's going to play out, guys. I know about as much as I have. Well, that's not quite true. But as far as my opinion on how the election will end up playing out, I don't know. I would say about 8 months ago, pretty instantiated in current events and political theory about the current election cycle and the current kind of candidates and everything. Even like 4 months ago, actually, to be quite honest, because I was watching the candidacies and everything, and I just can't do it, guys. Can't do it. Long that pitch. Mr. Unicorn says there's an election. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is legit or not. So, but I don't want to. Essentially, if I say that, then I have to, in the same breath, like disrespect my good friend Johnny Boy Crypto. Well, you know, Johnny, you didn't stop by for Proof of Keys Day. You didn't come to the Proof of Keys party this summer. So I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. I want to show you guys. I want to start off today. Let's see if we've got answers to that. No? Nobody? Anybody? Mike D's Fitness Journey says bullish flag. Swing Trade Pro says bullish. Check out the 2 hour on Bitcoin. Falling wedge bearish. Falling wedge usually bearish, says Doug. So 2 falling wedges. Subtextually says she doesn't quite know. Damien says the only way that I would trade it is if price breaks up and closes above downward resistance. So essentially, if we trade above this this descending resistance channel, or this trend line right here that is acting as resistance. So to kind of highlight that, let's make this red, and let's assume that our resistance is going to be green. Right? So if we break above red, okay. So let's. It could be a couple of things, right? Personally, I would look at this as a flag. Okay. We are in an uptrend, and price is moving in a tightening channel to the downside at a very slight slope, right? What is actually, we could get the Euclideans out here, like something like not a 45-degree sell-off, something like less than 20 degrees. So there is that. The consistent, the nice consistent lows that are lower, and then forming this higher low right here, the consistent or equidistant almost, but certainly descending lower highs. This is all very indicative of a flag pattern prior to a breakout, as opposed to a pennant, which is generally flat. A flag actually hangs down a little bit, almost in this exact fashion. Now we can see flags with more extreme angles, obviously, but when you really, in my opinion, for the majority of the pullbacks here in Bitcoin, they start off flaggish, some break down. This one is a flag that breaks down. Here we have a beautiful flag right here, breaks to the upside and sells off, but makes a higher low and continues right along. Again, even like you can see in general, flag structure everywhere. And I think that's generally the best way to interpret it. So Damien had it the best there, where he said that the way that he would trade it would be, if you're thinking larger than this pattern or this current area in Bitcoin's price, then what you are going to do is, yes, view this as a breakout initiation. So if price closes above, if price closes above the red line here, you would typically think to go long. Now, I don't think that that's a good setup. Of course, any setup is a setup to go long in a bullish market, but I don't think that's the best setup under most conditions. That means that if you were to practice that strategy throughout the lifetime of your trading, you would be less successful because of it, in my opinion and in my experience, because that kind of breakout trade is rare when it actually cements. Almost always, I screwed up the microphone just a bit. Almost always, we do get the first attempt to break above a level of resistance sold into it. And by that, I mean actually trading above that level. So you got a couple options. You can wait for the candle close. You can wait for a candle to open and close, as a few other traders like to famously say. The other thing that you can do here is, of course, range trade on lower time frames, because you've got very clear and distinct bounces. But for me, there is another metric that I'm looking at a little bit more closely. And of course, that is going to be, we're actually going to hop down to the 5 minute now. Listen, falling wedge would have been equally acceptable. Falling wedge would have been equally acceptable. Falling wedges are the worst pattern that I like to trade. Let's check my settings here. And actually on ISISpot, we're going to bump up our channel length to 55, our average length to 21, and we're going to sweep with an average length of 22 here. All right. And the reason why I decided to do that is I was looking at the way that I was looking at ISISpot last night, looking back on this whole area, and assuming that if we do get another rally, I do want to optimize to the market that we were just in, with the level of volatility that we were just in. When we go down in volatility, when we're not making as extreme swings, I'll modify my settings to be right up there in date. But this seems to be working good. 45 is good as well. Generally, any good setting, 30 is kind of the go-to for me when I'm on the lower time frames here. But the main thing that I want to point out is the Bitmex Funding and Premium Index as well. So I do have the experimental settings for the lower time frames here turned on. It is on XBT, and I have all of this stuff. I have all of this stuff clicked. So I am showing horizontal lines. All those do is kind of show extreme boundaries. The horizontal spreader I have set to 0.03. And the horizontal line style is 2. That's just from my own personal preference. But I'm also showing the funding markers only when it occurs, and I'm hiding the March premium deviation on Bitmex, okay? So throughout this entire rally, we had nothing but backwardation and negative funding, okay? And just as we crusted last night, so again, here we are, 18:55, all right? So here's 6 o'clock. So it was about midnight, 1 o'clock when I was making my final post. So pretty much this area right here, this is where I closed my long out, my second long that I put on yesterday. Actually, excuse me, my long hit the take profit, because if you guys noticed, you guys watched me set it, I said I 100% take profit. And I opened up my short here. And just recently, about 2 hours ago, I added to that position. I posted a new trade to indicate that. And I did not have the chance, or I feel that I didn't post enough analysis to really make that come through clear. So what I did for me was I'm utilizing cross margin. Let's actually go over to my account. You guys can see here. All right, here we are. Here is band. Let's go over here to ByBit. And real quick, let me close that tab. All right, so here we are. Here's our ByBit time frame. So I do have 3,000 contracts now from the 1,000 that I had put on this morning to short. So my initial short entry, let's find out here. Order history. I shorted 1,000 contracts at 15,709. That was my initial entry into this short trade. So 15,709. So not a bad entry whatsoever. We'll just go ahead and you should be able to let me do it. It's because I got the screen too small. Whoop. Did you guys catch that? Did you guys see the password? I will use that. That will be the lock on the on any Bitcoin I give away as a giveaway today. So 15,709. Good enough. $15,709 initial entry, and then I added at 15,428. All right. So I doubled up on my position because I do see the confirmation that I want to see for this to move to the downside. Now, that is. Let's see here. Minimize ByBit. The things that are pretty clear here for me, or the things that are different, is price moving into that premium and us moving from negative funding to positive funding. Do you know what this means? Guys, it's Friday, okay? Do you guys really think... I mean, we had two options last night, right? As I went to bed, we normally know that big movements come in between, at least my time, CST, like 2 to 6 a.m., right? And that is when European markets are waking up, right? So it was, my midnight is UK 6 a.m. So when the European markets open up, they can either continue to take price in the direction that it's going, or they can sell into it. Keep in mind that throughout our evening, China is just wrapping up the eastern countries are just wrapping up what they're doing. So by the time midnight strikes, or by the time it's evening time here in the United States and it's time to go to bed, you are either about to, if Bitcoin's putting in big moves like this, either about to miss a significant movement, or you are going to, or the trend is going to flip, right? And that's exactly what happened. The trend did flip. I was looking and expecting, honestly, for UK to come in and buy this up, for the Brits to buy this up, and they didn't. They sold into it. And Americans have continued to sell into it right now. And of course, do I really think that the Biden thing has anything to do with this? Yeah. In a sense, but not as much as I think people would like to accrue, right? The reason why, there's a very simple reason why people are buying Bitcoin, right? Because on at the basic level, the more Bitcoin is adopted, the more individuals buy Bitcoin, the more investors we have in Bitcoin. And I don't mean like depth, but I mean quantity, right? The more adoption that we have. They're buying Bitcoin because it is now becoming safer or more lucrative. There is more opportunity in purchasing and holding Bitcoin than in either holding cash or another asset, right? Bonds, stocks, anything, I mean, literally anything that you could possibly think of to buy and hold or to place your wealth into. Real estate is certainly playing its part, but we are seeing inexorably a trend into Bitcoin. And this is because people are figuring out Bitcoin's value proposition, right? If you purchased Bitcoin prior to this, like and went in into a serious way with your investment, it's because you saw something that the rest of the world didn't, right? That the rest of the world has to wake up to, right? And that's the same. This is the case with any investment, right? When you are investing in something, you are determining something that will have value to society, to everyone in the future. However, society doesn't realize that yet, but you do. So you are a time traveler. You are going to transport something of little value right now into the future. You're going to buy it. You're going to hold it. You're going to transport that into the future to when the rest of, us God-forgiven savages figure out that it's valuable as well, or just as valuable as you saw. And as a reward for successfully and safely transporting that valuable asset from where it was to where it will be, you are rewarded with the difference in price as profit. And that is the job of a speculator, guys. Slap that on a bumper sticker. All right, so as we switch from as we switch from backwardation, which is derivatives price, the derivatives mark price lower than the index price, as we slipped from backwardation into premium, which is the exact opposite, we saw a movement from negative to positive funding. And then one other thing, guys, Bitcoin volatility has been a fantastic indicator to watch for as long as I've watched Bitcoin. Last night, we did broach above that 0.55 level that I've been pointing out for almost a week now. And we did see price stall out. We saw our volatility stall out. And what is happening now? Volatility is now coming back down below the 0.55 level. Note that I had pointed out 2 ways to use this indicator. Well, really 4, because there's 2 ways to do it up here and 2 ways to do it down here. But when when our line, this is just a metric, when Bitcoin's volatility goes below or gets near to 0.21, just when it gets low, we've got a good metric here with 0.21. When it crosses 0.21 below, when it crosses under, that is a good time generally to enter into a position, because that means volatility is very low, and high volatility will precede that period of low volatility. You're often going to just have to hold through a choppy period or a rangy period. And when our when our Bitcoin volatility is moving up or crosses from underneath back above, that can also be a trigger for initiation trade there. Doesn't give you directional bias, but just lets you know when to trade, which is half the battle. So as price is moving up, there is just massive opportunity. However, when volatility goes above 0.55, you can choose 0.6. It's not a magic number, but just when it gets relatively high, as you guys can see, that is when volatility peaks, almost always, and we get a correction, or we stall out and volatility drops and you have to wait. So for me, this is certainly a profit-taking zone on Bitcoin. This is why I'm going to be holding this short. It is possible that we just kind of reverse and continue to push up from here, but I really think that is unlikely over the weekend. I think that we are going to see a boring weekend for Bitcoin. And if you guys want to know what to trade, then we just need to go look over at Bitcoin dominance and see how the altcoins are really responding. Where is the capital going? Cui bono, like where's the money flowing, right? So here is the total crypto market cap. And I do have my friend Node. So Mr. Node from STP is allowing me to try out this indicator. All right, so we're going to see how we do here. We are on the 5-minute chart, so I'm not going to really call too much, but I'm interested to see overall just what structure is doing. And we can see kind of the same thing coming from Bitcoin's price. What is happening with the market capitalization? We have tested this level of resistance at about 445 billion. That's Billy with a B. Let's see. Let's go ahead and mark that out. So we do have a horizontal level of resistance in the total crypto market capitalization. Let's see here. And we've just been ranging here for quite a while. Ranging, I mean, literally for almost 24 hours. Now, this is a price action setup that could favor along. So for example, we've tested resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, a weak 5th time. but we're forming higher lows. Okay. So again, if we get the breakout here, I would go ahead and get long. And again, it's really that simple, guys. If we make new highs, you long the next pullback. Okay. But there has been a significant shift in the market. Volatility going above its extreme threshold. Funding switching from negative to positive. Backwardation switching to premium. The other thing that I want to point out too is volume divergence. So volume is very important. Open value is very important. Open interest is very important. And if we look at one of my favorite indicators to look at volume divergence, the volume flow indicator. And let's actually go find a revealing time frame on Bitcoin. Let's hide the junk. And VFI, the volume flow indicator by Lazy Bear is what I want. It's in my favorites. Volume flow indicator by Lazy Bear. And let's see here. If you look, so this entire area of the market, let's go ahead and minimize this, and of course that one more time because I had to do that incorrectly. If we look at this entire rally, you guys can see rising or confirming volume flow, all right? And then what happens when we get to about 75, 60% of the rally right here, right before the last leg? What happens? Volume starts to diverge. We can see as price moves up and reaches its new high, we see volume flow all the way down. So this is a good indication that there is weakness coming into the rally. Individuals are offloading their positions because net positions are going down. If we see volume flow indicator diverging, moving down when price is moving up, what that means is that people are closing out positions, right? There's more profit taking going on in the sense that whereas right before these traders took profit, there was, let's say, $200 million worth of liquidity on the books. Now there is 150 million, right? So they're taking the liquidity off of the books and they're reducing the liquidity of the trading pair. And we can see this on, so you can go to ScalpX Index and see this anywhere you can monitor open value or open interest. Although open value is the more objective metric. Open interest it's a little bit squirrely the way that Bitmex particularly defines that. But let's take off their social interest. That doesn't help us. We do not see a massive spike in Bitmex short liquidations, really. We are on the hourly here, so we would see it here on the ScalpX. But of course, we do get some, but not really indicative of a top. But we don't always get that massive spike off before a top or correction occurs. But you can see open value here, basically diverging all the way throughout this latest rally. So that again indicates that there is just a lot of profit taking. Of course, if you have a lot of Bitcoin, you are continually selling all the way up in an uptrend. You're not, whales, for example, they are, and institutional investors too as well, they are taking profit as well as market makers, anybody who just has a large quantity of Bitcoin. If they're in the mind to take profit, they're taking profit incrementally as price goes up. They're dollar cost averaging out just like they dollar cost averaged in. Now, that will always be the case. People will always be taking profit as price goes up if they bought low and they're trying to sell high. But when you see open interest go down so significantly and open value go down so significantly, it makes you want to pay attention. Now, again, this doesn't mean that the market is going to correct here. I'm not trying to make that assumption, nor do I have to worry about trying to make that assumption. I'm just trying to make money. So I nailed this short, guys, and I'm glad I could do it with you. Now, there is a trade here that I'd like to post, and let's hop into the members lounge. Let me see what their response to was this. Okay. By the way, I can address this later too, but I can do it during mentoring. A GBU Wally in the members lounge of our Discord says, the chart pattern that I posted best resembles Hungry Dragon just got bored with your offering. All right, so Chipsius in the members lounge is talking about what is the difference between on the premium and funding indicator. What is the difference? Here is that. Let's go look at, sorry, 1 second. Let's go look at that divergence as well here on XBT-USD's price. We have to kind of go all the way back here. But open interest is, as we can see, open interest was rising on this latest rally. We can see the divergence as we start to sell off. But again, here open interest rises as price moves up. And then we see a big sell-off And really here is where I would consider this to be divergence in open interest, because look at this price climb in on the chart, but there's no follow through here on open interest. In fact, open interest just really focuses on dropping off the map. Again, however, one thing that I will point out, we have not seen a massive spike in short liquidations. You know, really one where I'm like, whoa, that was gnarly. Should pay attention to that. So, agri trade, really lower time frame. A volume delta is still positive, and I am actually now officially calling it, right? Under normal operating conditions, volume delta, as to be used by any volume delta, like wherever it's calculated, but right here we have it. Volume delta indicates the difference between the quantity of buy volume and sell volume, right? So the higher that delta is, that means there is the bigger the number that the delta is, that means that the bigger the difference between buy volume and sell volume in one way or the other. And when that is occurring, that means one side is in clear control. And I am certain now that at least during uptrends so far, the positive volume delta, having positive volume delta is bearish, near tops, okay? If you have negative volume delta near lows, that's bullish, just like the funding and premium indicator. So speaking about that, what is the difference between the yellow and the blue on the funding and premium indicator? It's the difference between funding and premium. So the way you guys can see here that I've changed the way that this indicator looks actually just because of this purpose. So let's set this back to the way that it was. The funding rate, So let's set this back to default. All right, so this is the default now. And what we actually have, you guys have to learn how to break down indicators graphically, right? Because all these things are doing is presenting numerical data. So we go into the settings tab, and on the style tab, we can see exactly what we're looking at. The gold histogram, it's a histogram, is the premium index. So if the yellow histogram here is below the 0 line, that indicates backwardation, that the divergence or the difference between mark and index price on Bitmex is negative, indicating that shorts are pushing the mark price down very aggressively, and the index price, which is derived from spot price, is not keeping up. The blue is the funding rate. When it is above the 0 line, it is positive, indicating positive funding or longs paying shorts. And when it is negative, it indicates shorts paying longs. So what I have done to make this just a little bit more readable, let's see, hopefully I can remember it now. We're going to take the premium index and keep it as the gold here. I think I changed the color a little bit. And then our funding rate, I turned into a line. All right, you can do that right here. And then I made it nice and thick. And then I do believe I'm just going to do white. Yeah, that'll help. So we have our premium index, and we can change this to, if we want this to be a line, we could turn this into an area, which might even be a little bit more helpful. Columns, for example, might be a little bit more helpful. So whatever you guys, just whatever really is convenient and helpful for you guys and is best for your trading. But I'm going to keep it kind of a nice, kind of CC orange there. Although I do think that the gold, yeah, there we go. Get that nice golden color. Increase that opacity just a little bit. And I wonder if I had this, I believe I had this. Yeah. Probably not gonna find it again, guys. That magical setting that I have. I'm gonna have to rewind and actually watch the stream very, very carefully. Humbug. Okay. So, so that is the difference there, my friend. So you can change it up visually, and that really helps you. You can use that kind of that trick or just that knowledge that you just got bombed with there. You can use that to really help you out, break down and identify really what any indicator is trying to tell you or show you, right? It really helps you customize the chart. All right, so we just switched into a little bit of backwardation, but we are back to premium. Our momentum oscillator here just hanging out and topping below 0. I do think that this is not exactly where I want to add to my position. Kind of want to go over and trade the altcoins. Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to, but that's overall what I'm definitely looking for. Now, here's how this can go down. There's only 2 ways this is going to go down, right? Bitcoin is either going to complete this flag pennant, and there's a couple ways that's going to look. We are going to either take out our lows here. So we're going to grab liquidity, right? We're going to do a sweep. So price is going to do something like this. We're going to fall off. Price will do something like this, and we'll make a lower low. I don't think we'll actually go down that low. That's a little extreme. Just maybe like right here, maybe like 1551, and this is on ByBit. And then following that, if we are going to actually complete to the upside, that's a fake out. Price will move up. But either way, kind of the key thing here is if price breaks down, okay, the smartest thing to do is to enter into, in my opinion anyways, this is what I would do. You kind of are forced into the breakout, even though you're going to get faked out either way. But it's the kind of losing trade that you have to take if you're not positioned ahead of time, right? So if you guys sacrificed, you guys stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning, working on your OBS stream setup, you guys would have caught or been able to manage a position, just like the traders that were up, the traders that were, I mean, it was amazing watching you guys being up in the general chat as I'm like grumpy, doing my last minute analysis and getting ready to head for bed. But either way, I'm telling you guys, if we close above on the hourly or anything lower than that, the 5 minute will really help you monitor it, right? Because if you go to the lower time frames, when price actually does the breaking out, you will generally see how overextended price is, plus the huge volume spikes, and it generally makes you more wary of actually entering a trade there. But if you're on the 5 minute, what you really want to do is wait for a pullback to take the breakout, so particularly of flags, particularly of symmetrical patterns. So if we continue to have things like positive funding, premium on price, volume divergence, if we're not able to make a, I mean, I do feel like it's kind of set now, right? I do think that we're going to continue to correct. This is why I'm being pretty aggressive with my shorts now. And yeah, that's worked out well for me. Let's go back to ByBit. And we're going to talk about altcoins, and we're going to put some live trades on here now. We're about an hour into the show. So let's get our Binance live trading up actually here. So again, just checking in our ByBit position, up 15. Let's see here. So up 1.52%. There's been 1.54% movement in price. So remember yesterday we were able to secure. Pull this up. And we can share this with you guys. All right. All right, so here's the official signals log, aka my trading journal. And I actually found a really cool website that I want to do a review of. And I'll show you guys a little sneak peek of that right now. All right. It is called Proprietary. Here we go. Proprietary.com. Now this is a third-party service. So again, this is not affiliate. I'm not linked with these guys. I haven't reached out to them yet, but I have been using this a little bit over the last 2 weeks, and I quite like it. So give me a second here, and I'll log in and show you guys a little bit of what it looks like. All right. So with this pulled open here, let's actually go ahead and pull a window capture, Brave capture, and we will select Brave here. Boom. All right, so this allows us to create trades. Yeah, sure. No, not now. So this allows us to keep a log of our trades. This is really nothing different from our trading journal, but the interface here is quite nice. Now, I think that given enough time, we're gonna be pretty sleek and sexy like this. But let's just create our first trade here. So trade details. What was our trade type? Is a cryptocurrency trade. And when did we enter that trade? Well, it would have been just pretty much yesterday. All right, we entered this trade yesterday. The symbol was BTC USD. And I guess it doesn't like that. BTC. Okay, so the way this is structured is kind of like you have a ton of options because this plugs in. You can utilize this For brokerages, you can utilize this for Forex trading. So that's really where they come from. They really, I certainly think, have a bias for brokerages and not spot exchanges or derivatives, right? So what was our entry price on Bitcoin? Our entry price aggregated right now is 15,557, okay? And it's a short trade. And the total trade amount, let's see here, the quantity is 3,000 USD. Let's see, we have a stop loss. And that stop loss is 15,909. And we have a target price right now of 15,571. Really, I'm not gonna lie, my target price is about 14,850. That's what I'd like right now. So let's put 14,850 right here. You can upload entry images. Why did you enter the trade? Type out a reason why you entered into the trade. So for me, it was going to be, let's see here, funding on derivatives, flipped from negative to positive, as did backwardation to premium. Let's see here, 4-hour ISIS overbought, price action rejection, lower highs, and volume divergence. All right. Trade sources. Did you get the trade from anybody, for example? Was it a trade signal? Was it a setup? Did you talk about somebody with it? And then notes throughout the trade, and then submit your trade. All right. So you can keep track of all your entire trade like this. You can edit it, finally close it out, put all the metrics in there. And what I really like about this is that it's kind of got like this prediction engine in here, because it's going to ask you like, hey man, why did you enter that trade? So you can learn, right? And the more that you do this, the more it teaches you and points out your faults, so that when you come here and submit a trade that on average, when you take that setup, you lose money, it's going to yell at you like, hey man, you realize that every time you do this, you lose money, right? Like, I know you think it's a cool setup, but just please don't do this to yourself, you know? So really cool website. Check that out. It will improve your trading. You guys got this. Ooh, doxed. Nice. Somebody get this man a cameraman. All right. So we were able to secure, wanted to show you now the trading journal of mine, the live trading journal and my live trades. Because the important thing here is percentages, guys. For those with eyes to see. All right, so current month results. Yes, we are right about there. Yeah, current month results, about 8.07%. Although you can see that my personal trading has underperformed Bitcoin's price. It's actually one of the first times in the year that we've done that. Pretty interesting. However, I got to fix a couple issues here with this column right here, so I could come back. But let's see. We were able to secure about 0.33% addition to our account with the loop ring trade. And then a little bit less than that with band, so about 0.25, so about 0.5%. And then with the two BTC trades, pushed us up to about 1.2% gain on profit. So 4 trades yesterday, added 1.2% capital, and they were actually pretty low capital as well. These are not large swings because I'm just attempting to grow the account percentage-wise, which is what I like. Yeah, Damien, do we have a referral for Tradery? I don't, man. I'm sorry, I don't. Maybe one of these days I will. All right, let's take a quick dissension over here into the promotional scheme area. All right. See, what I want to do here, guys, is just I put the image up here, and I can show. Let's see here. Not content schedule. Now, I can do Facebook. I can do all kinds of stuff here, but I don't have it all set up. I just want to add this. Yeah? Yeah. You guys can see how the sausage is made. And one more image, I do believe. Mm-hmm. Is it like the same thing? Okay. Whew. We'll do this, and we'll also talk about ByBit and Binance here, I think, just a little bit. So obviously you guys are seeing us do these trades on ByBit and Binance. And they really are the trades, the exchanges that I recommend, right? This may seem contrary. This may seem like the opposite of what you would expect somebody to say. But really, in general, I wish I could like zoom in way more on that. Jeez, come on, man. I get way more intimate with this. You're all like weird and stretched out. Why? Yeah, why would you do that to yourself? Okay, jeez. There we go. Now I don't look so weird. I really do think that those are the best exchanges to start off on. The reason why is because if you're going to learn how to trade cryptocurrency, there's something that exists in cryptocurrency that just does not exist with other assets, and that is the risk of depositing onto exchanges. Now, of course, those of you who trade Forex are no stranger to Forex scandals and bad brokers. However, you also have kind of the legal backing or the legal background, not the legal background, but the ability to go after your funds to a certain extent. You have scambroker.com. With these centralized exchanges, they have the complete ability to just completely usurp your funds. Plus, we don't know what they're doing. We've had a lot of talking about this almost lately. So I really do think that learning how to trade and learning to trade correctly on the right exchanges is important. So yes, I do recommend ByBit. The reason why is because Binance is not the exchange for people to start learning how to trade on. I have seen people who started off trading cryptocurrency on Binance. And what they end up doing is they kind of get caught into the casino mindset, right? The altcoin casino mindset, which is fantastic if, for example, altcoins are in a boom, but they're often not. You have to have a lot of discipline, I think, to trade altcoins passively and objectively, right? So, having 4 pairs makes it very simple, makes it very easy. So, and again, I'm going to have this all nice and pretty eventually one day with all this stuff in there. But you guys can go to bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com to sign up. You can trade there. They will give you a $90 margin bonus for using that link. You can't withdraw that $90, but you can utilize it as the basis for trading. You can withdraw the profit. So if you're not trading, or here's an idea, if you are trading somewhere else and you have been trading this wrong, or you would like to test to see how you would perform if you traded somehow different, right? So if you've been trading long this whole time and you want to see how it would do, how your trading would do if you traded a different strategy, well, go open up that account. You can trade a different strategy with free money and withdraw any profit that you make. And if you lose it, hey, you learned that you could or couldn't do something. So there's that. I feel like I haven't mentioned anything that we do. Binance, you guys can sign up there as well, get a 10% reduction on fees. But again, Binance is a good compendium. It's a good addition to trading on a primary exchange like ByBit, but the majority of my capital is on ByBit. About 40% of my trading capital is on ByBit right now. And then we have about 20% on FTX. And then there's about 20%, I actually think that's it. I have very little funds on Binance, right? So so that leaves, overwhelmingly, it's about half of my account that's in cold storage, to be quite honest with you. A little under half, about 40%, but yeah. And that's the safe way to trade. You have to take those precautions, in my opinion. I do, and that's kept me safe. Plus, remember, that's money that's sitting in Bitcoin. So the exchange can exit scam, and you also get to enjoy the appreciation of Bitcoin's price. In moments like this, it almost pays for itself. And if you guys want to figure out, how you guys want to answer that question, like what direction should I trade in, right? Or is this a good trade? Join us in the group, right? Join us in the free Discord, discord.krakencryptocurrency.com, because this is literally the question that we're designed to solve, right? It boggles my mind. Don't get me wrong, like anybody can, it doesn't upset me when I see people do it. But when I hear people explain a narrative for why a trade may or may not work out, and then they feel the need to be like, but of course it could do something else. It makes me laugh because I've been a systems trader for so long. And of course you could be wrong about the future, right? It's just an unnecessary thing to say if you are, if you've been trading a lot, like you know that you have no magical ability to discern the future movements in the market. And what you do have the discerning ability to do is catch some good setups, but if you can catch good setups in conjunction with something that reliably catches just good, decent trades, more often than not, you'll do better. Right? That's the goal of systems trading, guys. So all that information there. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Let's go back to the charts. And I'm cut off again. All right, so I want to do like yeah, I want to do like a giveaway. I want to do something fun because it's Friday. So I want to ask if the moderators and analysts are watching. No helping. But here in a second, I'm going to actually flip over and let some of our analysts on, and some of the premium members too, if they'd like to. We can do this we'll do this in the Discord. So if you guys want to come on the live stream, then just please go into either the premium voice chat channel. The premium members are going to be prioritized. I'll give you guys priority, of course. If there's not enough of you guys just around or wanting to come into the voice chat in Primo, then I will open it up to general chat. And for those individuals, just simply go into the general chat voice channel in our Discord, and we will drag you up into the general chat. So if let me message Ben real quick and see if he'll set that up for me. Stun Gun says, can I put a link to the trade sheets? For CC Official, it is signaltracking.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Signaltracking.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Let me put a text element here for you. All right, now we need to select the color. Let's say green, yeah. And on a background color of, let's say black. Yoink. And of course that is just a terrible font. Audio wide, please. And size 14. Boom. Should have rolled with the 36, man. Sissy. Signaltracking.crackingcryptocurrency.com will always take you to the CC Official current live trades. And again, I wanted to explain this as well because there were a few questions about it, at least from the members lounge. Again, it could have just been like Don, like being sarcastic, but the reason why there is the CC Official signals channel anyways, is because the original goal and what we're doing with this is trades will go in there that are the result of the analysis or let's say agreements between analysts and myself and some other people. So there could be trades in there that Jason and I discussed. There could be trades in there that Alex and I discussed, but either way, they are the official trades that CC recommends with the risk management structure per the risk, as well as the kind of capital allocation that the trades are developed with, or, considering if I think that if I post 10 Binance trades, right, at 5% risk, well, I know that if they're non-margin pairs, you're likely not going to be able to take those trades. So it doesn't make sense to put them theoretically onto the trade sheet. The CC Official Signals channel is intended to be a live account, right? Which it really is. It really is pretty much 90% my live account, 5% Jason, 5% Alex. So before I bring those gentlemen on, we're going to do something fun here. I'm looking to add to my Bitcoin position. Let's see here. I got smoked on Band, unfortunately. Had a nice breakout on Band, but I shorted Band. Let's see here. Did we hit the stop loss? Nah, that's 33,991. Oh, we didn't trigger. We are way past the stop loss, and this is what you call slippage, my friends. Or that's about 5% extra that I would pay, that I'm going to pay on that trade. So we'll hold on to that. We already seem to be losing on that trade, so we don't need to do anything drastic. Anytime, and this is a good lesson to learn. Anytime you've made a mistake in trading, keep in mind that it's an isolated margin account. So I know exactly how much is at risk there, and I actually deposited quite little in there relative to what I needed. So I'm not going. There's no need to panic, because if you panic, then you're probably going to make the wrong decision. Okay. So we'll look at that here in just a second. All right, let's hide this. And let's see, block stack pushed back up. Avalanche we entered as well. Let's see how Avalanche is doing for us. All right, Avalanche pushing up as well. Where did we get that trade entry into Avalanche? We sold Avalanche at an average price of 22,842, and we are up. All right, so we're down on the AVAX, and we're also down on. I didn't post the band for the group, so I'm probably going to get you guys a better entry if and when I post this now. So, and just to let you guys know why. Why did I take that trade? For the same reason that I've been tracking it for the last almost 3 days now. So here we have that original strategy of the time transformation, utilizing the hourly time frame, the daily baseline. On Nano, which is one of the pairs we were identifying, we do see that sell side signal here, and price is still marching up. So I'm actually going to, let's see here, I'm of a mind to short Nano as well. That's on the watch list. And we also have STX. So what happened with STX like overnight? Let's break this down. So we entered this trade at 4 o'clock on the 3rd, right? So about 3 days ago, and live on the air, and we entered with an average price of 1081. We entered with an average price of about 1081 here. And so right here, and at 1081, we set a take profit. Our first take profit for a block stack was 983. So we absolutely plummeted down and finally hit 983 here. Just caught the beautiful low of that. I mean, 983, that's a great take profit right there. It's 50% of our position. Price reversed and hit our break-even stop loss, all right? So what does this mean? We only made half what we wanted to make, minus trading fees. So a little bit less than half, about 0.49% that we wanted to make. Still a good trade, still a winning trade. And what do we have right here? The same setup, right? Prices surged all the way back up, and we have that same trade setup here on the hourly. We have overextended conditions on time transformation and that cross under, and then price even breaking back down. So, and I do see here that Swing Trade Pro's 3 little symbol thingy here is giving me that confirmation. So we are going to look for a short here as well on Blockstack. Or a re-entry since we already entered into a trade. So Blockstack is going to be a trade, is going to be a shortable altcoin right here. Let's see here. Reserve rights, which actually is pushing to the upside here. We are above the baseline now on the hourly on declining volume. So I do want to see an overall price reset, and then we'll be looking to trade RSR long, assuming that it does actually stay above there. Avalanche here I knew was the more aggressive, but I had to take the oversold condition, and we do have that unnatural volume, so we'll see what happens here. See if we get that invalidation or not. Ethereum is not breaking to the upside. See, here's that coiling or pegging that we're talking about with our momentum oscillators, okay? All right, so let's get into, I'm going to unmute my mic here in a second. We're going to take a quick break. I'll get everything set up for the, for bringing people on onto the live stream. Again, if you guys want to come on and you're premium members, hop in the premium voice chat channel. We'll drag you up into the green room, make sure that you're not a psychopath, and then we'll pull you onto the live stream. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be right back, and I will leave you with, what should I leave you guys with? What should I leave you guys with? I think it is time for a Bitcoin weather report. You know, there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on out there. And I think that kind of in the face of all this, there we go. I know which one to play. Well, this one for sure. Okay. So we're definitely going to play this one. And I think we're going to follow it up with... Oh, man. There's so many good ones. I think there's some that we haven't even really shown, to be quite honest. We have... Yeah, let's do this one. Okay, so I've got 2 to play for you. I don't think you've actually seen them before. So let's actually switch over. Get out of studio mode. We'll be right back. About a 3-minute break, and we'll be back with the live trading, guys. Let's go see. We've got junior analyst Jason over here. Midwest Attempts in the chat. Let's see what he thinks about price. Jason, what do you got for the price of Bitcoin today? Got it this time.
We are ranging. Ranging. And with that being said, let's take it back to you. Bitcoin's bullish, baby!
All right, guys. So welcome back. I do have to like tilt that camera down a little bit, don't I? Man. So I am in the live voice chat here in our Discord server. I do have actually Alexander, Jason, I have Jack, I have Wally, Mancunian Crypto Guy, Midwest Attempts, excuse me, well, Jason and Midwest Attempts and Alexander and EpidemicSound, so the same people. So I have them here. We're going to flip over, do some screen sharing, and do some more live trading here. Let's get over to our... let's try this screen. Yeah, let's do this. All right, so just give me a second, guys, to set this scene up. And here we go. I don't know why there's such a weird color correction on that. Yeah, please. All right. Now I haven't pushed you guys live yet. They cannot hear you, but they will in just a second. Once I add. Let's set speakers audios out. All right. Actually, yeah. Go ahead and try and talk, guys.
Is that? Oh, that's my view. Oh my goodness. So, I guess we've transferred over now. Can everybody hear me?
No, nobody can hear you. Oh,
okay,
wait.
guys. I guess we're live. Hey, folks. We are over. I guess this is the. I guess this is the bite-sized crew edition of Cracking Crypto. Hope everybody is doing well there in chat right now. So today, I think I kind of just want to go over the end of the week for traditional markets, which are kind of trading sideways over the course of the day. Go ahead.
They can't hear you, unfortunately.
They can. They can now. They can now.
We can hear you in the Discord, but he hasn't piped the audio through to the stream yet. So
I did.
Come on, Jerry. Get to piping.
I bet Justin's not even there.
Probably not.
now it's working.
Okay, guys. Well, hello there. Welcome to a bite-sized edition of the Cracking Crypto Crew does technical analysis.
Friday get together.
Yeah. Happy days are here again.
Yeah, we got a few people from the crowd in here, including Mr. Ether and GB Wally, Sophia and Philip, of course. So shout outs to the members who joined us this Friday.
Shout out, guys. So today is the day the rubber meets the road for the triple top theory of the current market price action. So over here on the QQQ, which is a Nasdaq index tracking ETF, what we see here is that prices formed a high, a lower high, and now we're retesting what I have drawn out here as a symmetrical triangle, where price is perhaps going to make a lower high. This is still very questionable. I'm still waiting to see the closes here. As you can see, the 3-day is closing very strong here on the QQQ. Over on the SPY, where we're still kind of trading sideways on the day.
Man, just strong gaps up everywhere.
Yeah, these are all gaps up, but it's on decreasing volume. I don't know if you can see that here. So this is happening on decreasing volume as we approach resistance here. If you're wondering what this little line is, this is for tracking of the weekly. This is the weekly high here. So
there we go. Sorry.
Strong gaps up everywhere.
Yeah, these are all gaps up, but it's on decreasing volume. I don't know if you can see that here. Shit. Yeah, so this is happening.
I have no idea what happened to your. Hold on. Oh, we gotta like mute.
It's Mr. Ether on a loop.
It's who?
Yeah,
it's Mr. Ether on a loop. He's listening to the stream and you're hearing it through.
Yeah, so just if you guys have push to talk on, just mute yourselves when somebody else is talking.
I think we lost Philly and we lost Philly and GBU.
I'm sure we'll get him back.
Oh, okay. So yeah, guys, rubber meets the road on the theory. And then if we start closing above this area, we know it's time to go long. Like the bearish theory is invalidated. And at that point, there's nothing to do but to suck it up and join a gigantic rally upwards, cry ourselves all the way to the... So, So I do not know exactly what's going to happen in the future, but there's still a lot of weakness in the market in this area.
Yeah, with that decreasing volume and everything, it would lead credence to the bearish argument, but who knows?
Yep, and even looking over at the Dow, we're still yet to make a higher high. So I know everybody feels, like the market should be bullish because I guess now there's going to be there's still going to be uncertainty. Do you think that Trump over the next 2 months is going to be like, oh yes, I peacefully concede that Biden has won despite everybody in the country saying otherwise? I don't see that happening.
I knew you wanted to make it political. I knew it. He couldn't wait.
I was calling that Trump card.
What if
married to the markets? Yeah, absolutely.
What if Biden's the asshole, bro?
Okay. Biden also said that they were basically going to they were not going to concede. So if somehow Pennsylvania does come back around, you think Biden's going to let that go?
I don't know. I know less about the election than you do. But, all right, carry on.
We all knew it was going to come down to this, so let's not get too political on this.
We knew it was going down to this. My point is, where is the good news going to come from for the market? Like we're entering the winter, we're entering COVID-19 lockdowns. We got the big GDP news that everybody was expecting. Earnings are finally in. I think they're finally finishing up at the end of this week. I think what is it? Is the 9th the last day that earnings come out for this past quarter?
Yeah.
Where is the good news going to come from that's going to propel us to new highs in the midst of all this? I don't see it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. However, I would like to point out that I'm not entirely sure that it's necessary. That is a scenario. You follow me?
I guess I hear you say, that it's not. No, I don't know that I agree. I think investor sentiment is super important for the market continuing to be what's what I'm looking for, have a bullish stance going forward. I mean, that's why the Federal Reserve keeps coming out and trying to reassure investors and let investors know, don't worry, we're definitely doing everything we can, and to let them know, like, don't worry, there's going to be stimulus coming of some kind, even if we'll be doing stuff with bonds, even if, the Congress is late with the individual stimulus, even though market, that's what the economy is like really truly waiting on. So I do think that bullish investor sentiment is important for the markets to continue onwards, and I don't know where it's going to come from.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely hear that, man. And I see the logic, and I absolutely understand that analysis. I was just my only purpose is to point out that we have certainly seen markets move up on. We have seen markets make irrational movements that were like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is this happening? On
100%
true. What I mean? Yeah. So I just don't. The only reason I point that out is because anybody watching who, and I talked about this earlier, anyone who's watching who, it's the wording you chose too, like kind of kicking yourself or worrying about this. Well, again, like, you don't need to do any of that. You just need to focus on your trading, and don't worry so much about. I think not you individually, but anyone watching this who's newer to trading, who feels like they haven't captured these movements in any asset, right? You guys have a lifetime of trading ahead of you. And these things you guys will figure this all out.
That's one thing that I always think about when trading, because especially going from my style of trading of just chart patterns and stuff like that, trend lines, Fibonacci's, and then joining here, one thing that I really like about that is I don't have to care at all what happens in the news. Like when I'm trading systematically, I don't care what's coming up. I just see if I get a signal and then take that trade. Like it's way easier for me to do it that way because everyone's always going to end up fighting about what was the catalyst, what did it. But it's always a look back. They're always like, oh, this is what caused it, or this is what. But the movements happen whether we know what's happening or not. Like Justin said, like there's irrational moves all the time. So focusing on that, I feel like is a waste of my time personally.
I agree. I don't want to focus too much on the exact why, except to say that, like maybe each individual fundamental event does not completely matter in the grand scheme of things, and the charts kind of do what they do. I agree with that sort of in principle, especially because I'm more of a technical analyst than a fundamental analyst.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the fundamentals don't matter. And for that reason, like I do keep looking at them and wondering, what positive fundamental forces could there be for the market at this point?
I guess the way I would phrase that is I don't think that it's not important or useful data.
Yeah.
But in the scheme of things, for me, I don't think it's that important. But absolutely, it can be used to project and everything, like especially looking historically and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
totally
And I think the real danger is when people try too hard for the why, especially like after a market move comes in. We always have people come in like, why? Why did that happen? What happened? Who changed the market? It's like, who cares, dude? Price is down. Either like we got to decide whether or not to short now, but like the why doesn't matter.
I love that too, specifically when people come in and ask, like, well, so what made you do that? Like, was it the news? It was like, no, I got a short signal, man. Like, like, it's not like I'm like looking on the news for everything. Like, oh, how did you know that? I'm like, well, I just have a system. Like, it's not like a crazy answer to your question, but everyone always thinks it's like something bigger than it is. You know what I mean? Like, how did you know?
To be fair, it is though. It is something bigger than it is because the technicals are not the difficult part of technical trading. The discipline is the difficult part of technical trading. I would agree. And that is really the magic. So when people ask me like, hey, how are you able to make a living as a successful trader, as a profitable trader, I tell them it's pretty simple actually. Like I just follow the rules. Like even if the rules are bad, like the ability to stay the course and be disciplined, regardless of actually outcomes or being willing to sit through drawdown, those are the skills that do differentiate profitable and unprofitable traders. Absolutely.
And the way that I would look at that as well, sorry, real quick.
You're good. Let's we got Mr. Ether in here, and we got Evan too. Welcome to the stream, you guys. Actually, welcome everybody to the stream.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, I just want to take this moment also, guys. This is the dollar index. Do you guys have any thoughts on this chart? Because this is what gives me pause to the bearish theory of the traditional markets. Because if the dollar breaks down, we should see the markets melt upwards. Yeah. And so
Dixie goes.
Yeah. And so just like we're seeing the market test those highs, we're seeing the Dixie retest its lows. And we're going to know by the beginning of next week what's going on both the Dixie and the traditional markets. I think Monday, Tuesday of next week, we should have a clear idea.
Strong.
Nope, it doesn't. But, this is also, the markets kind of always retest important price points. And so it's not necessarily out of the question that we see a retest of the bottoms. But if we close below this area at all, like that's it. Like that's the short signal on the dollar. And that's kind of a long signal for the markets, at least according to the theory that the markets move in an inverse relationship to the US dollar.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It looks like right now on the DXY, we're literally about to close below, that 92.16 area on the daily, and that right there would be a clear breakdown for the dollar. Right.
Yeah. So this is let's see, the open on this is essentially it's 92.3.
Exciting and terrifying at the same time,
This is below 92.3. So. Yeah, it would be a weekly short signal if you're a breakout trader.
Looking good for the dollar.
Yeah, guys, it's I don't want to say it looks grim. I mean, it looks grim for the U.S. dollar, but if the U.S. dollar breaks down, then that would be a tailwind for Bitcoin. Tailwind, pushing from behind. It's good.
And let's be
it'd
real.
be pushing
That's
Bitcoin up. It'll be pushing alts up, and it'll push the traditional markets up.
And let's be real. That's why we're here, anyways. Bitcoin.
Yeah. And which will be good to put your Bitcoin into something else, because if the U.S. dollar is going down like that, then guys, all your dollars are losing their value. So.
That's why Bitcoin's price will inflate so much, because the dollar just crashes.
Yeah, in this week, the U.S. dollar has lost like 2% of its value.
I know good.
This week alone, everybody, your dollars were 2% less. It's just for fun of it. What does that look like? That's not 2%. It's 1.75%.
So yeah, I mean, let's see if the SPY can close above that 351 area going into the close here. I think that's pretty pivotal for the S&P.
Yeah, I agree. Until then, it's still a lower high.
Yep, making a new high.
Oh, I gotta say, on the 15-minute, it looks pretty weak. Look at that.
Wow, look at that gap, man.
It's definitely a shortable spot on if you're scalping Spider right
Sure,
now.
I would assume that would get filled sooner than later.
Yeah, I would totally short the spot right here. And this is also nice because this is still the weekly close right here. That's what I got marked out here on SPY. So this area right here is acting as resistance, like we would imagine. And if we do get a breakdown here, that would validate my triple top theory of market price action. So that's really all to say for the markets, for those markets right now. Why don't we go over to the Forex markets and just kind of take a look around. I have an interesting theory on the Australian dollar that it's going to be very strong coming up in the near future. I talked about it on the show previously that Australia is currently entering into summer while we enter into winter. They're coming out of COVID lockdown while we enter into COVID lockdown. Things are on the upswing for the Australian economy, and I think we'll probably see that printed onto the Australian dollar. Now, if we take a look at the Australian dollar USD, here. What I want to show you guys here is a broken downward trend stride. Shown here. This spot support was previously resistance here. So this is resistance, resistance, now support, broken downward trend stride. And then on the weekly, hello, very strong weekly signal right here. You don't got to be a technical analyst to look at this chart and be like, hey, maybe I should long this spot. So I really do expect the Australian dollar to probably pull back a little bit in this spot and retest here. I think that would be healthy. This is like a nice consolidation spot. Yeah. So you can see this also on the Australian dollar index. Well, let's come over here to the AXI. We were looking at Dixie earlier. So support here, resistance up in this spot, facing resistance here. I know
you were talking about this earlier in the week. Did you happen to post this for the members?
No, because I'm waiting for the pullback. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I know that you were talking about it for a little while.
As a matter of fact, I got really excited here and entered long, and I'm kind of upside down on it right now. So, no, I didn't put it up for the group, and it's probably for the best I haven't put it up yet. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. So, Australian dollar, I think, looking strong coming up in the future. I want to short the Australian dollar. I did want to short the Australian dollar against the euro, but the euro is also kind of looking strong here. Not as strong as the Australian dollar is. We don't have as obvious of a broken trend here. Well, maybe. Yeah, we did. We just broke trend today. Yeah. So this kind of lends credence to the theory that the dollar is going to continue to break down here because the euro is looking strong, and most of these things, when they're looking strong, the thing they're strong against is the dollar. the yen being very strong, about to have that melt up that we've been discussing in the for the yen. So yeah, so if so as you can see on the monthly, incredibly strong time to be long the yen or short a yen pairing. Maybe US dollar yen. What's that look like? USD JPY. I bet this is the one you want to short right here. Let's look at that, guys.
Oh yeah.
Perfect time to be short the dollar yen. So I think last week someone asked me about long the yen, and I told them to stay out of that trade. And so far it looks good. And we're getting a nice on the monthly, we're getting a nice three soldiers pattern here. Do you see that, Justin? Or actually, these are three dark crows. Soldiers is the bullish pattern.
Black crows, yeah. 3 white soldiers is the bullish case.
Yeah. So this is breaking down. I expect this to continue. You can see it. You can see it all over the JIXI, which is the Japanese yen currency index. Yeah, it's melting upwards. So.
I'm learning Japanese.
Swiss franc also looking kind of strong in this spot. Actually, maybe looking even stronger than the Australian dollar. This is making a new high. I think this should probably be. We should maybe take this before the weekly close, Justin, tonight. We should find our way to long the Swissy or something.
So I will say that the setups that you're presenting are absolutely fantastic. I don't, with the exception of the Aussie pairs. By the way, I felt bad. I felt bad the other day, or I felt like I didn't qualify it when I posted my trade. You know, right after the, I believe it was Wednesday's show, we were on and we had done some long-term analysis on the Australian, the Australian dollar. And right after that, like that evening, I called a couple shorts on the Australian, on the odd against other currency pairs. So shorting the Australian dollar against that when you were expressing like weekly sentiment. And I thought that, and for this, I'm actually going to switch scenes here. Yeah, so for that, I actually want to show my chart here. And let's talk about Forex here for a second. I'll go right back to the Discord here in a second. Because the current positions that we've been in for quite a while here, we've got the pound yen. And let's see here, make sure that we are on, what time frame do we have here? Show the, all right, let's do this current. So we get the weekly baseline. All right, good. So we have the pound yen. Here's the weekly chart on a wand. I'm going to take this off. I'm actually going to put the trending indications on. So the pound yen, looking at this chart, looking at the pound yen on the weekly, this is a beautiful downtrend that we were able to capture. And let me pull open the actual trade here. Would be the CC official trade. I feel like something weird happened when I here we are. Cool. I moved it over to this screen. I apologize. The pound yen, we entered short. We got an average entry of about 139.973. And we've been riding this for a long time. We've had this pound yen trade open, I mean, for a couple months now. And same with the dollar Swissy, the dollar Canadian, the Aussie yen. And we were talking earlier, you were talking a lot about the Dixie, like, you know, is that in spite of the fact that we saw that sign of strength in the dollar, if the dollar certainly breaks down from this area, let's actually look at that. Let's look at the dollar Swissy. Like the dollar Swissy is a great indication here. So this was previously, if I could be frank, these are the setups that I'm seeing if we exclude this current red candle. So let's just look at that day. Let's look at the close of the previous weekly candle. This is almost without an exception every single altcoin setup that I've seen today. So keep in mind, if we go to crypto bubbles, I mean, we are putting in just a rip-roaring tear here in altcoins just within really the last, 36 hours, 24 hours? You know, we were making like new lows yesterday. Yeah, we were making new lows yesterday, and now we are rebounding to the upside. So I wanted to show people those dollar-based currency pair trades, because the same thing with the dollar. We were entering a significant level of support, and we decided that the trade setup in conjunction with our other Forex trades would be to take a dollar-denominated kind of bias to the long side. And I actually still feel that way. I actually still feel that that's likely. But if the Like, for example, what do you think about this dollar Swissy? Do you see this weekly? We're making a new weekly low. We still have absolute bearishness from all of our indications. This certainly seems like we're in a weekly continuation period. The daily too is breaking down following a swing high. We've only had 3, and just 3 candles here put us from pretty much overbought to oversold on the daily. 4 hours seems a bit overextended here. I'd certainly wait for a bounce to get out of this position. Vitae, it's what's making it's what's making cryptocurrency traders rich. I ask myself the same question. My answer is because when I was doing my scan 2 days ago, I mentioned Vitae because of its price difference, but it is not available on the exchanges that I had laid out to trade on. It's not on. Yes, cast it into the flames. Let's see here. Let's go to who do we got here? Is there anybody? Let's go to the members lounge. It's yeah, like I'm just surprised that like nobody wants to come on and talk. Let's yes, yeah. So I'm gonna switch back over to the scene and do what Jack told me to do, which is alt drag, and let's where's that Discord scene?
You with us?
All right.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Someone do a wellness check.
Maybe
I saw a
see
comment from him in the live chat saying he's having technical difficulties, so we may not actually get his audio through, but he's in here.
He's just shy.
You can hear us for the record.
There we go. For some reason, it's in the group. I don't know why. Here's the window capture, and I need to select nope. So close. I'm sorry, guys, that I'm so terrible at this. I have...
They can't open. It's all right.
I literally cannot find where that Discord... Oh, okay, there it is. Sorry. It is over that. And the reason why is because it's stuck on... Who's watching, whose camera is this? Bring Bitcoin live.
Watching you.
Yep, cool.
I think that's Alex's stream you're focused on there
Oh,
for a
okay,
second.
okay. Let's click out of that then, sorry.
Sorry.
And let's get into... Evan, would you like to share your screen?
Sure,
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm gonna look at Ocean USDT on a daily timescale here. Now, I've mentioned before to the guys here that when I look at these charts, I'm like projecting, maybe days or weeks in advance.
Hold up, mate. I need for you to share your screen so I can click on it, and then I can share it.
Yeah, do a Discord screen share.
Yep.
Hey.
And it would be the stream right here.
Make sure to close out your naughty tabs.
It's cool. It's cool. I've got you. I've got the docs protection on here. They can't even see your tags or tabs, even if you had them open. So pour it up, man. You're good.
Okay, so as mentioned before, Justin was testing out the STP by cell zone indicator. I'm on Heikin-Ashi candles. I also do have a Bollinger Band on here, and there isn't enough price data on here for the RSI bands that I usually use, but that's fine. What I like that I'm seeing here is we have a cup pattern that looks like a cup continuation on the daily chart, and we've tested up to this previous resistance area, and we've made a higher low. And if you guys can see this, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but we do have a reversal candle here. This red boxed blue candle is indicating a reversal to the upside. Now, it's not confirmed until this daily candle closes, all right? But if we get this daily candle to close, we will definitely see a move to the resistance area around that 53 cents on the daily timescale. What do you guys thoughts?
I bet with Minx, you're going to be getting close to a continuation signal on the daily as well. When I look at that, I see that as a little bull pennant.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
And I mean, I would agree that if it closes like that, you're likely to get more upside.
Excellent, excellent. So I had also I had also Neo was another one that I'm actually in a live trade on right now. We actually haven't confirmed the daily reversal on Heikin-Ashi candles, but on the regular candles, which is interesting, we are showing this reversal here at this area. Again, it's not confirmed until the daily closes, so like 4 hours until the daily candle closes. But it seems like a lot of the altcoins right now are reversing at this time, at this area.
Yeah, I mean, the alt market would definitely lay credence to that. I mean, we're definitely having an up day for the alt market.
Right. So I'm looking this supply line up here, right around that 1670 area, 1650 area, as a resistance maybe to pull back from if we don't get an immediate breakout there, and maybe get like a initial breakout and then a back test of this, and then a continuation to the next resistance area up here around this $19 area. I think this if we continue this alt run, I think Neo is going to be one of those coins that performs extremely well. Obviously, it's on a larger
coin. Or excuse me, it's a Chinese coin. I can't believe I just said Japanese. It's a Chinese coin, and the Chinese. I know that there's a lot of.
I thought you were just about to say there's a lot of Chinese people.
No, disposable income.
Be careful. We're already talking about. We're dangerous territory.
Just look at the Ant IPO. Just look at their real estate investment market. Like the Chinese like to invest and they like the stock market. So I think any coins that are positioned for them are going to do really well this upcoming cycle.
Yeah, and also on the macro, this is like a falling wedge breakout that we had back here in July, and typically falling wedges on a Fibonacci standpoint, they usually get to that 50% retrace area, which is like right around that 2775 area, which is kind of confluent with this resistance right here. So I think for sure in time, maybe within the next weeks, we could see Neo get back up to those levels.
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the question at all. I think that it's well within the range of going there.
I can barely hear you. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We're agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for now. I just wanted to show these couple trade setups.
Yeah, man.
Actually, you know what? I have one more. It was ICX. That was the other one that I really liked. A nice Gartley pattern setup on this. We actually had a couple, right? So this was that falling wedge breakout that actually turned into a Gartley setup that brought us all the way up to this swing high up here, and here we are now breaking out of this this Gartley setup, falling wedge, or whatever you want to call this, if you're just charting from the top.
That is a nice break of the wedge.
Yeah, that's beautifully charted.
Yeah, so I think we're obviously going to come up to that. We're 12% breakout. I mean, I would say that a nice back test of this 33 cent area, and then continue through this resistance. Again, if altcoins continue their rallies, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think waiting for the throwback on that one would be the best entry.
Sure. Great. You guys can take it away.
Can't take it away from you, man. That was good TA.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it.
No, that was really good.
We got any requests?
Get your thoughts on some requests.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so hold on. I just took I kind of took executive control over the stream there for just a second. All right, cool.
Okay.
I apologize, guys and viewers of the stream. Like it's kind of hard for me to do because the monitor on which I have the Discord, I have to have it popped out, so it's just kind of unnatural to me. So if anybody wants to team viewer in and take it away, I wanted to look at that Neo USDT.
I don't
here a
want a
little bit.
TPU. I have no idea how to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will mess it up.
It's pretty easy, guys. It's kind of like having. Anyways, moving on.
Okay, but
This
not
is a.
It's so easy. Even a Justin could do it.
All right. So this is no, this is a good setup here on Neo USDT relative to the other altcoins as well. So
Yeah.
what would you say was the strongest like consideration that would make you want to buy this? If you had to pick one.
For me,
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, I really like the Neo setup because of not only like this bullish engulfing candle we're getting today, but actually where it actually reversed, right? So if you look left on the chart, you could see that this initial breakout, when we broke out of this falling wedge, we actually basically back tested it, this 1337 area, and we pivoted perfectly right off of it. So a nice spring off support, and that leading to this bullish engulfing candle price action, and we're coming really close right now to the supply line. But I think there's too much buying pressure here that it's really going to be tough for it to not break it, right? So I like that's why I really do like this. The fundamentals behind Neo are really good right now too. I know I think they're working with Coinbase on some private blockchain stuff, from what I've heard. So they're fundamentally they're good. Obviously, from a technical standpoint here, no issues from them here. So
I have a question. Didn't Neo recently release a new staking token like FLA or something like that? Do you know anything about that?
I actually don't, but
Just got the inside scoop on Neo's new token. Come on, guys.
Tell you what, I'll go search for a second and drop a link while you guys are talking. 1 sec.
Thank you. I do like that. Yeah, this is a just classic entering into a bullish trend and buying the first pullback, right? We're making a higher low off of that weekly low that we formed over here. I would broadly consider this whole area right here like a highly volatile ranging area or long-term accumulation area. It really depends on what you would call it, depending on what happens now. So for example, if we go into a massive run on Neo, kind of similar to what occurred in early 2018, then we will all look back and say this was the accumulation zone, right? If Neo is unable to kind of break and make new highs, which I certainly don't have, I don't have the same fundamental conviction that you have in Neo. I feel like I used to. I really do like Neo as a coin, and this is why I like the setup. I do actually hold Neo, but this is a good technical setup, my friend. Pulling back down to the 55 EMA on the weekly. The weekly is almost oversold. Going down to the daily as well, I didn't see anything that I didn't like. Coming into the 200 EMA. So for me, this is certainly an area too where there's two things possible. Either this weekly pullback, really the first weekly correction, is going to push us back into a bullish trend, or we break down below this 200 EMA and we enter into a bearish trend. Because this whole, like everything that we've experienced since September to now, I would consider not a bearish trend, but a correction following an uptrend that's been in existence since the March meltdown, right? You see that uptrend that Neo's been in along with everything else, which kind of harkens to what, Alex was saying broadly, talking about the fundamentals of the whole market. If you believe that markets are going to make higher highs, if Bitcoin's going to make higher highs, pretty much everything is going to do well trading against the dollar, right? This is why if we go over here to crypto bubbles and look at things against the dollar, things are popping. But if we switch over here to BTC, different story. So can anybody in the chat or anybody in the live stream, not picking on anybody, can anybody tell me what they would think, like looking at this, that Bitcoin is up? What is Bitcoin up over the last week?
30-40%, something like that.
Well, I'm hoping I can find it right here. Well, it's hard to see what Bitcoin's up against Bitcoin, so we'll go to the dollar. And Bitcoin's up 14.8% in the last week. So if Bitcoin's up 14.8% against the dollar, but let's say Vitae is up 50% against Bitcoin, what was more profitable to trade? Simple question.
Somebody answer.
That's a lot of silence for a simple question.
Let's say Bitcoin. What's going on here?
No.
The altcoins are going to be more profitable to trade against Bitcoin if Bitcoin is just going to sit here right now.
Well, I'm saying, no. I mean, Vitae went up 50% against Bitcoin, while Bitcoin went up 14%. So if you would have traded Vitae and captured even half of that, you would have done better than trading BTC USD, for example, assuming your position sizes are equal, all things being the same, right?
Yeah. Hey, question, Justin. So,
Yeah.
when I first started doing some swings on altcoins, I was really trading a lot versus Bitcoin, but I really noticed that obviously it's going to be dependent on what Bitcoin dominance is doing, also. But I noticed a lot that it's actually more difficult to trade the Bitcoin pairs. For me, anyway. I'm just speaking in my experience.
Sure.
I would get a signal or something, and then all of a sudden it would just go south real fast. But I noticed against obviously trading the dollar, it's a lot easier to predict and trade. I don't know if you're experiencing similar things, or do you typically trade the BTC pairs, or?
That's a good question, man. Yeah, I've talked about this quite a bit. I think that it really depends. Hold on one second. I swear to God, I have to figure out where the heck all these things keep disappearing to, because I can't find the live chats, and I would like to have that. Here it is. Sorry, found the live chat here. Jeez, one of these days I will figure all this streaming stuff out, guys. Really do need. I definitely need a team viewer if we're going to do anything complicated. But all right, so are alt Bitcoin pairs better to trade than alt USDT pairs? The answer is it really depends. All right, so let's take a dive over here with our main diversified chart, and I want to pull up. Let's say, show me any altcoin you want, preferably one that's like medium sat or large sat, something with a market capitalization, but anything.
Tron,
TRX, BT. We're going to pull up TRX, BTC on Binance, and we're going to split screen, and we're going to look at TRX. We're going to compare this with TRX USDT. We're going to remove all indicators. We're going to look at the daily. Keep it super simple. Okay. All right. So, shouldn't have. There we go. Boom. So we do see different movements here from TRX USDT, just kind of off the bat for me. But again, there's similarities and there's differences. We can see that TRX BTC is just absolutely plummeting off a cliff after this consolidation area. So TRX BTC broke down and is down about 30% on that, whereas TRX USDT has just stayed in that consolidation area. So clearly these two pairs have traded differently. And why is this? Because through that area, BTC USD was quite strong. So if BTC USD is moving up, alt USDs are generally going to remain stable or move up. If Bitcoin is in the lead, and again, you said something very succinct there, which is we can figure out or get a good gleaming of what that's going to be based on Bitcoin dominance, right? So it is as simple, I think. Obviously, it can be more complicated than this, but if you guys just get Bitcoin dominance over here on the daily time frame or whatever time frame you'd like to observe it for, put on any moving average, put on any baseline, and you guys will have a good sense of what the overall trend is going to be in the market. Is Bitcoin dominance trading above its moving averages, or its moving averages angling up? Then Bitcoin is in an uptrend relative to altcoins. Money is flowing out of alt and stablecoin markets and flowing into Bitcoin. And that means alt USD pairs or alt USDT pairs will be profitable to trade as well, because that pushes Bitcoin pulls everything up with it as far as dollars go. Times like this, you can generally even hold alt USDT pairs, and it's almost like a stable coin. Like we can see with TRX USDT. This thing's basically been a stable coin for almost 2 months. Whereas alt BTC pairs are plummeting off a cliff. So it depends on what you have access to, where you're trading. I certainly recommend that people trade alt USDT pairs over alt BTC pairs, because it just allows you to position size like you would for stocks. It allows you to consider the trade in terms of fiat currency, which is the way you've been thinking about money your whole life, rather than in terms of Bitcoin. So that's a little confusing for people. And obviously, if you have to go and do math with BTC in the exchange, like we have to do, for example, if we go look at our Binance, where we were trading, that caused me like frustration and difficulty this morning, right? You guys, we were all there and live trading, and I've put on far less positions today because there is an inefficiency in this trading, because I certainly am not the best at like speed math in my head. So to do all the calculations that are necessary in the way that we have it, to get the right amount, to borrow and then sell and set the stop losses, it's a real pain. And that's because we're dealing with alt Bitcoin pairs. So it is certainly, I think, safer and easier to trade alt USDT pairs just for the ease of trading. However, there is a problem there as well, because under normal circumstances, alt USDT pairs are going to move in the same direction as Bitcoin. So the setups are almost always the same. The timing is almost always the same. There are times in the market overwhelmingly where it makes sense to be long on alt USDT pairs is the same period where it makes sense to be long on BTC USD. So then it comes down to, well, what is going to move more, right? Then it just comes down to we're seeking the highest liquidity, in which case you probably want to buy the shittiest shitcoins you can, because those are going to be more volatile. If you want yield and if you want conservatism, or if you want stability, if you want security, you would just do BTC USD. So times like this, though,
that is a big problem with the USDT pairs in the alt market, is that sometimes you feel like you're taking 5 versions of the exact same trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's really dangerous, because at those points, all your trades are over-correlated. And when you get stopped out, you're going to get stopped out on all 5 trades at the same time, too.
Yep, I certainly agree with you. Yep, that is a real danger. Or it certainly feels like that. So again, we'd just be hunting for liquidity. If we know that if I go long on Tron USDT, Bitcoin Cash USDT, Bitcoin USD, ETH and then I also go long on Litecoin USD, and I know they're all moving up because the US, all cryptos are moving up against USD because Bitcoin is pulling the market up, or Ethereum is pulling the market up, or who cares? But the USDT markets are far more correlated than the BTC pairs, because the BTC pairs, as we see right now, are diverging. They're plummeting while Bitcoin's moving up, meaning that you can actually use the markets that we have available now that have become more ubiquitous, the margin pairs that have become more ubiquitous, to have short positions open on altcoins, so that you are either doubling down on your Bitcoin long or applying some sort of diversification to your cryptocurrency trading.
Yeah, I totally agree, Justin. That the USDT pairs are, most of the time going to be a lot easier to trade. Spot trading anyway. Obviously, like margin trading can be a little tricky, or can be, but that's just my experience as well.
Yeah, I have the same thing, man. Like Bitcoin pairs are harder to trade, and I mean the first thing that we probably want to consider. Let's switch back over here for just a second. When we're looking at TRX BTC, I think these setups are pretty easy. It just, and you said it best yourself. You showed some great examples of setups in cryptocurrency here. Looking for the right setups for BTC pairs is, I think, fairly simple. You just want to wait for a couple of things to be true. You want to wait for Bitcoin dominance to be in a downtrend. That's all you have to wait for. You just have to wait and patiently wait for Bitcoin dominance to, on the daily or the weekly or whatever time frame, to trade significantly below some significant moving average, i.e. average price. You can do this with a momentum oscillator as well. You can do this with something like Parallax. So here we have like Parallax, and I'm sure your STP indicator would do something very similar, where we are shifting into bearish territory right here. And let me take those EMAs off. So shifting into bearish territory right here. And we have a downtrend. And throughout this whole period, you can see, as I move my cursor down Bitcoin dominance, you can see that TRX BTC just skyrockets. And that's, listen guys, if you get into these massive altcoin trades, these 100, these 200, these 2,000, 5,000% trades, that's life-changing money. And those things only come around once in a while. So I said yesterday that the way that you would trade, or the way that you would react to these unnatural situations in the market, might be unique. They're really not, man. They're really not. You would still, if you want to capture or maximize your profit, like on that Tron Bitcoin trade, you would do the exact same thing as if you wanted to capture and magnify your results on any other pair. You would wait for a good entry. You would enter your trade. You would manage your trade appropriately and not take profit too early. The way that you would do that is have an objective profit-taking system. Yeah, just good technical trading, man. Lets people take advantage of these. And focusing on, again, the reason I keep harping on this is because I've received like hundreds and hundreds of DMs, and I really want to make it the focus of kind of like how I like tutor and teach people, right? Like lesson 1 of Pathways to Profit is you are never going to be right about the market. Like you accept that and you stop worrying about being right, and you can just get all that nonsense and garbage out of your way, get it out of your head, and just focus on finding a good setup. It works. So BTC pairs is where I would be trading right now. There's more liquidity there too, but that is changing. That has changed over the last year. There used to be like no liquidity for USDT pairs or USDT pairs, and now there's a bunch.
Your short just turned very beautiful.
I know.
He's like, I didn't want to brag about it live on air, but I'll let you do it, Alex.
I don't want to brag or anything, but I did. It's professional, you know. All right, so
It's like he does this for a living, folks.
all right, so let's actually hop in with Bitcoin. What do you guys think? We are breaking down now on the lower time, on any time frame. This is what Bitcoin's price is doing. We are selling down below the support that we had in this, in my opinion, flag pattern. But the pattern isn't really what's indicative. It's just, look at this, guys. So I pointed out that volume divergence. I utilized that VFI to point this out earlier as well. And open interest and open value as well. Look at, I mean, just look at this skyrocketing of the volume delta as Bitcoin's price was consolidating in this tight band. Let's go over and see where we're at with BVol. We're gonna plummet. The cool thing here about Bitcoin volatility is that, remember, there's no directional bias here. So if Bitcoin volatility like turns around and picks up, we could see a sharp correction or a rebound to the upside. Either way.
I have a question for you, Justin.
I have, yeah.
And this is something that I don't know. Maybe we'll want to look at more after the show. But in the traditional markets, when price goes up, volatility goes down, and then when price goes down, volatility goes up. But in Bitcoin, it doesn't quite work that way, and it's just magnitude of move in either direction does not matter. Price volatility can go up when price goes up, and volatility can go up when price goes down too. Is there a particular reason for that difference in between the two markets, or?
So the way I hear the question is,
yeah.
Pardon me one second. Sorry about that. The realities of live streaming. So you're saying in traditional markets, we notice, like with the VIX, when volatility goes up, the price of assets goes down, right? Did I hear you correctly? Or vice versa?
Oh, vice versa, but yes, exactly.
So, well, it's important, like, because that's the point I got to prove. Like, so if volatility is increasing in traditional markets via the VIX, then we would expect assets to increase, or asset prices to increase as well. Whereas if we see
when VIX goes up, price goes down in the markets.
So, all right, so we agree. Volatility going up in traditional markets, asset prices go down, correct?
Yes.
That was the assumption. And in cryptocurrency, we see rising volatility leading to price going up. And why is that so? I don't know. And I don't really know that I've seen. I've certainly seen periods when traditional assets were going up and volatility was expanding. Anytime you see a breakout and big candles coming out of nowhere, volatility is expanding. It is just true that there is so much liquidity sloshing around in traditional markets, particularly the index funds or the top stocks, that it's very hard to move the market violently. So it happens so rarely that it pretty much only occurs at the tops and bottoms. And that's when VIX spikes significantly to the point where people talk about it. I think that's probably likely the case. And because cryptocurrency is just less liquid, it's easier to be a whale in cryptocurrency and move the market. Yeah.
Okay, I like that explanation. That makes sense to me.
All I know is that from that, and then from a technical perspective, if you're able to enter into the market for any currency pair, for any trade, for any market pair, when volatility is low, it's usually, just from a volatility perspective, the best time to enter, right? You may be trading the wrong direction, but you're at least getting in when things are dying down, and you have a higher than normal chance of then, if you enter there, of taking advantage of the next wave of volatility. So just kind of trading these and utilizing this as a tertiary indicator has been very helpful over the last few days. All right, so I see I had the chat pulled open here. Book Chewy says, I was not aware of that. Very cool, Jornay. I'm sorry, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'll tell you what, if anybody has the WeChat, kind of the best WeChat cryptocurrency channels to follow, that's what I want to know. Midwest Attempt saying, here comes the bear trap. Jason, are you did you get long or did you get short or are you still long? Or are you in a position at all? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm in a WADA position up to 13.85, I believe.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
I'm in a WADA signal on the 12-hour, which has an 89% hit rate and 150% profitability over the last 3 years on a scalp up to 13.856, I believe.
All right, so scalp up to say
From
13, 15,
sorry, 50. I always do that.
1500, 15,856.
Yep,
Okay,
that's the target.
all right.
Just gotta do what the system tells me, right?
No, that's cool. It's I want to break that down though. That's interesting. All right, 15,856. Cool. That's what we're shooting for, and we are down here. So you are looking for another 4% movement. Now that wouldn't be making a new higher high.
Nope.
It'd certainly be breaking out of this pattern though. So I do think that this. Nah, man. I don't think the price is going to go up. It can, but well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll cover you. The premium is what I'm watching here. Now I could be wrong, but this is just interesting. I want to see. It doesn't surprise me if this gets faked out or pushed up, but I want to see if we make a higher high. If we do, then I won't flip. I won't flip until. I'll tell you what. If we actually break out, if we get your take profit at 15,856. I would have to long the next higher low.
Yeah, and my assumption is if we do hit that within this daily candle or this 12-hour candle, I'm definitely probably going to get a follow-up signal to that. So it's probably at that point going to be a breakout.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I mean, kind of why I like that TP anyways. I mean, that's just based off of the strategy anyways, looking for a 1.6 movement from entry. But I like that spot because even if it's a fake out and it's just a swing high and we fail, you're still out, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that's a concept that people struggle with.
Very much so. I get messaged about it all the time.
Just like, hey guys, if you know that you have a 70% hit rate, that means you're going to be wrong 30% of the time, and you have a random distribution of those losses. There are weeks where I cannot win a trade. And there are weeks where there's nothing I can do wrong, right? Like every fiber in my body was created in a government lab to be successful at trading.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like the last 3 weeks have been for me. I mean, every trade I've posted has completed except one, which was yesterday.
Yeah. You've been on a hot streak, man. So
sometimes you're sometimes you're just on that streak, you know. And that's the thing where I like to sit back for a second. I'm like, okay, I know statistically that the losses are coming. How can I, what can I do right now to even stop myself from losing on that trade? Or what I do is when I get on a real hot streak, I'll start toning down my risk because I know that it's coming at some point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, this is a very interesting spot here. I'm curious to see what happens.
Okay, man. I want to see... I was thinking about going back here and kind of putting up one of my 3 screens methods. So we have the daily baseline and we're using time transformation still. Remember, guys? So let's get time transformation here. Now I want to add a volume confirmer to this, a vol filter or a volatility filter. And remember what we had discussed the other day in the chat, and what I had said we were going to do was the unnatural volume signals here from time transformation. But to be quite honest with you, I don't think I'm the biggest fan of that concept in retrospect. I think we can do a little bit better. And I think so. I think I want to actually take the volume flow indicator from Lazy Bear for a spin. All right. So I would like to use this as my vol confirmation for this trade setup. So now we have an initiator, we have a vol filter, and we have a baseline. All right. But we're really using our baseline as a confirmer. We're using a multi-time frame baseline. So we're letting it do some double work here. And the setups that we're looking for are, again, oversold or overbought sell signals from time transformation or momentum oscillator, or divergence, or topping below 0 or bottoming above 0. Now, if we just kind of scroll back here on Tron Bitcoin in the hourly, I feel like, let's see here. I don't think we're getting very good. We're getting a few too many signals here. So either we need to try calculating advanced price action, which I'm generally not a big fan of, or what we need to do here maybe is go up. Let's try 45 as a go-to. 60 might have to be where we get to though. And it just depends. If we, I'll tell you what I generally do actually with my personal trading, because I just need to find the bullish crossover and the bearish cross under. There we go. And that lets me not focus on what the indicator is screaming at me, especially if you like to trade divergence, especially if you like to look for how to adjust your indicator to the chart in front of you. You know, there's no problem. I know traders that tune their indicators, you know, every single week, right? Or as market structure changes. Generally, they have objective rules about that. Jason, just a second ago when we were talking about winning streaks, it's my experience that when I get those winning streaks is often when I don't focus really on winning. It's when I focus on trading well. And then they just come.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, waiting for signals, waiting for like back testing strategies that have good ones, and then waiting for the days that they start signaling. Then all of a sudden, it's almost like a sales pipeline. It kind of fills itself.
So you know what? That was a good long. I could have, if I'd have been off stream and just concentrating. I'm not as flow as I was yesterday. But this would have been something I would have longed. And the way I would have done that, let's switch over to Binance, or excuse me, ByBit, because I talk about this a lot and I feel like people struggle with it for some reason. Here we are on ByBit. And what I want to do is, as you guys can see here, I have a position open on the inverse perpetual contract, BTC-USD, and I'm short 3,000 contracts. But what I would want to do last evening before I went to bed, I transferred, of the $3,000 that I have in deposit here, I transferred $1,000 into USDT. Okay, so somebody was right when they said I sold the top. I mean, I'm not saying that claiming that I sold the top, but I did certainly sell $1,000 of the Bitcoin at the same time that I shorted. So, yay me. Over here, I can take long positions while I play my primary position on the inverse perpetual. Now, you may want to do that the opposite way, and one big reason why you may want to do it is because of, if you're trading on ByBit, the mutual insurance feature. The mutual insurance feature is not available here on the USDT pairs. It is available on the inverse perpetual pairs. So if you want to take advantage of that mutual insurance, which is actually really cool if you learn how to use it and you use it in your risk management, and then take your primary positions or your hedges or your swing positions on the USDT perpetual pair. But yeah, that's definitely a tradable sweep, right? That's a liquidity raid. Reversal trade, but something that I wouldn't mind taking. Did anybody get long on that push to the downside, either in the chat or in the members lounge? Let's see here. I take it now. I'm gonna go over to. I'm gonna go back. Toss it back over here to you.
Long on ETH since 390 range. I'm just this trade until I get confirmation to get out of the trade. I'm targeting like the top range here is like around 456, 457, up in that range. Have some resistance there, but that could also be where we break out from too. So what I might do is I might cover some, maybe 25% of my position there, and let the rest run.
You haven't taken any profit yet?
Have not.
Balls of steel, this man. That's good. That's a good swing position on the higher time frame. I would say that one thing that I find myself, how do I put this? Of the strategies that I typically trade, one thing that I've noticed that I guess how do I put this? One thing that was difficult for me to do, and still is to hold a long-term swing position open if or a positional trade really for me, if I don't have a good reason to put the trade on in the first place. So you guys are familiar with, like, many times, especially when I was a newer trader, I would end up turning what was supposed to be a short-term position into an investment, right?
It happened to all of us.
Keep moving that stop.
Yeah, just keep moving that stop, man. It's going to, it's going to turn around at some point.
It's gonna reverse. It's gonna reverse at some point.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. There, I got you guys over here now.
Isn't that where you just double your investment every single time? That's what I do.
Yeah. Because we all just have $1 million to keep doing it.
Well, I mean, you certainly, while you are breathing, you certainly have the opportunity to go get more capital. You know what I mean? Have you ever
the whole game?
Have you ever met somebody that's have you ever met somebody that liquidated their account and said to you, like, I'm broke, I don't have any money, and then came back later that evening with a funded account? Yeah, like they did something. Well, maybe they got their paycheck.
I guess I don't have that luxury.
They probably turned in their kid's college fund. We should probably not be encouraging this.
Guys, listen. Well, I guess what I'm trying to encourage is that the way one nice thing.
Homeschooling.
One nice thing about being an entrepreneur or a trader, particularly, is that the income that I earn from my trading account is active income. Like, I have to sit down here and work and put on the positions and do the work to find the trades. But from doing that, I have taken those profits over years and pushed them into passive investments, and that's passive income. And then I've also done things that I like and figured out ways for people to give me money for it. So, for example, and I'm not gonna, maybe in the future I'll drop the links for these. You guys can find them online if you search for them. But when I was younger, I was an active magician, right? Both stage and street. And so I recorded tricks, and I invented a few movements, and I came up with a few different, there's two videos, 2 DVDs that you can watch. They're educational. And then there are 2 packages that you can buy. They're like prepackaged gimmicks, right? So I get royalties on those. Huh?
Wait, do these feature you? Like these DVDs?
Yeah. Yes, like I made them, I shot them like a member would go watch the Pathways to Profit videos, and then I sold them to a store. I sold the rights to a store, so I get I get royalties on that. These are things that all kinds of people can do. Every single person watching the stream right now can set up an Amazon drop shipping account. Every single person watching the stream can figure out some form of side hustle. I do leather work. I sell belts like all fall and winter long. I usually make about $20,000 doing that. I made $20,000 on my best year doing that. So I would say actually probably like $10,000 to $12,000 doing that. Yeah.
I feel like you're learning.
I'm gonna get a bottle of whiskey. I'm gonna get a bottle of whiskey in that DVD and learn myself some magic.
Hey.
So I just think
have a leather belt. Buckle broke on it.
You're gonna need a forge.
What's up, Node?
Did you close your short on Bitcoin?
Nope, I did not. Let's see if I should have, though. You guys got me out of my element.
I don't think there's enough evidence yet.
Evidence. Let me see what I put down for my. Let me go check my notes and see why I took the trade. All right, so the first 1,000 contracts I went short yesterday at 15,736, and my 15. Would you just look at it?
Would you just look at it?
All you can do is just look at it. 15,355. So we actually hit the third take profit on the first short that I called yesterday. So we'll close that out following the trade. Fully successful trade, hit all 3 TPs. The second trade, I didn't post any TPs for this. So 15,482. So let's see. We're at 15,388. So let's go to, well, that's just on USDT pairs. Let's go back to the, if I close that now, I'm going to get 1%. It's not bad. What should have been my TP? So if I took that on the 5 minutes, let's pretend.
So I'm getting a 5-minute reversal right now on the STP on the Selson on the 5-minute chart. I'm watching ByBit. And it's about to confirm
Guys, it was a bear trap.
Yep, I'm getting that. Yep, ISIS spot right here is an oversold and about to cross over right here. And, you know, let's, I bet if we put Bollinger Bands on here, if we put like RSI on here, yep, look at that volume too. Huge volume spike, huge move to the downside. So what is that, Crypto Radar, I think it is, or Crypto, what's that website where you can see the volume? Really cool, and you can set those alerts. We used to go there quite a bit back in the day.
Tensor charts?
No, not tensor charts. It's kind of got like a gold layout. Come on, chat, help me out here.
Gold layout.
I think he said gold.
You weren't talking
Never
about
by the first dip, Justin Wise says.
Wasn't Sentiment, was it?
No, this was an older one. I think it's like Crypto Radar. Let me try here. No. Crypto Radar. Maybe this is it. Let me check. No, that's not it.
Well, the S&P looks like we might close above 351.
I think.
What?
I'm looking at the SPY over here, and I think that you're right. Yeah, there's that buy side signal right now on a red candle coming in from ISIS spot. With high premium, I don't think this is going to. You know, it's not that high. Let's see here. Funding is positive and premium is high, and these are not the underlying conditions that I would like to see a reversal in. I would like to see shorts being aggressive in this area. But
signal.
It's just Friday.
Is that, hey, that's Wally, right?
It was very quiet.
Yeah, can you you
That
don't
wasn't me. I think that's Mr. Note it all.
Oh,
guys,
you're talking through a tunnel now.
Yeah, he's breaking up for me too.
Yeah, Wally, what do you think, man? While Node out there figures his audio out, what do you think about? I guess I haven't really asked you. Like, how are you dealing with this area in the market? What are you focused on? What do you got your bots doing? Are they being aggressive? Are you scaling back right now?
So for a long time, I did BTC pairs and only BTC pairs because only BTC mattered. But over time, I've, with taxes and regulations and a slightly more stable Bitcoin, if you can call it that. I mean, obviously, BTC was incredibly volatile from 2014, everything up until kind of the recent year. Mm-hmm. And, after doing, 50,000 trades and the tax, I paid taxes and I had to do all that. And I switched to USD pairs for a lot of things just to make things easier. And so earlier when you're talking about Bitcoin versus USD, comparing a chart, I'll look at those things together because obviously as BTC goes up, that's a good buying position for certain BTC pairs. And what I'm seeing from there in the bots that I run, I basically run two ways. One, I let the bot buy and then I let the bot sell. And then the other one is I use signals to buy manually and then I let the bot sell. Mm. And when I do those kinds of things, I'm able to see different kinds of patterns. And earlier you mentioned different indicators, like changing your indicators based on the market. I definitely do that. I mean, every week I take a look at how the market's going and I'll definitely tweak the parameters of those strategies because nothing works forever on every pair and every market.
Yeah, and often I wouldn't say day to day, but certainly week to week in crypto. I think that's probably something that a lot of people struggle with as well. And it's just as simple as something, for example, momentum oscillators or the RSI. Let's just take the RSI and Bollinger Bands. They do a really good job most of the time. But it's when you get into a weird area of the market or they do something that you've never seen before where newer traders tend to kind of freak out. So, yeah, I feel you too about, doesn't it suck to have to grow up and not lose, I would say, certainly the youthful exuberance that I had back in the old bull days of 2017. But
Talking
2016
about,
really.
man, you're still glowing.
I know. But also, listen, like, but when I was, let's see, I would have been in my mid 20s then, when I was really in the heyday of day trading, when I was really day trading all the time, mostly Forex at that point in time. But then stocks. I went back to stocks a little bit before I came into crypto full time. It was right now. This is about 20 to 30% makeup and hair, right? Like makeup and hair make me look this good, and they provide the energy and exuberance, right? Plus, you guys are good to bounce off of. But also, you guys don't get to see, although I should make videos about it, like the hours that I've spent doing accounting or, you know, back testing when I didn't want to, or paying taxes or any of that stuff, right? So it's, you know, Wally, it's cool to hear from somebody else, like the realities of the market.
How could you not want to do back testing?
It's so much fun, and it's not boring at all, or monotonous.
It can be, right? But
Yep.
Well,
have you guys,
backtesting frequently just confirms your own biases if
Yep.
you don't have someone else helping you.
yeah,
And that's really important in the scheme of things, considering being a trader, because everyone's coming out here wanting to know what to do, and the whole point of trading is knowing what to do, and backtesting is what teaches you how to do that properly. So you'll never become a professional trader, in my opinion, if you don't backtest. It just doesn't make sense.
So it's like the saying, you know, practice makes perfect, but that's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect. If you practice the wrong thing, you're going to do the wrong thing. And that's the same with bots. If you have a bad strategy, a bot will automate that bad strategy.
yes, it will.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Come on in.
All right.
All right.
SPY just confirmed on the 15-minute chart a breakout on the 15-minute. And on the 3-day time scale, we talked about this before. We're looking to see this close on the 3-day above this 351 area. And if we close here in 15 minutes above, we're in a 3-day breakout on the S&P.
Sounds so excited about it.
I mean,
It is exciting.
it's amazing.
Excited about it.
It's crazy. We're in the most uncertain times of the market's ever seen, and we're about to make new all-time highs. That's what's
No one
going.
listens to me. I called the bear trap, guys.
All right, so
Live.
Live
am
on stream.
going to add to my position here. I'm going to double my position again, my short position on BTC USD.
There you go.
I waited quite patiently for that to happen. So this is just a simple thing. By the way, he's probably not watching, but shout out to my friend Hayden if he's watching, because in 2019 we traded this this Fibonacci strategy quite a lot. It's really cool and interesting. I've talked about it on stream like multiple times before as well. If you guys want to get into it, you guys can watch me kind of doing it here. But it's fun to do. It's fun to do. And I know what you guys are thinking.
Is it
Saying,
Hayden's Fib strategy?
what's up?
Is this Hayden's Fib strategy you're talking about?
I would say that this is a concept that Hayden introduced to me.
Okay.
The two fib levels to watch for, or a specific way to use them, and then I have like the way I do it is different. And I guess the fact that I'm doing it right now, and I don't think he is, but it's a fun strategy to do, and it's pretty interesting. So what we're doing is we're measuring from the bottom of a movement in the form of where does the market stop moving in that direction. So in this case, we're going to pick a wick. Almost always is going to be our first measuring point, and then we go up to the candle body close of the last candle that significantly moves up before a correction, right? So in this example right here, you can find them in almost every swing. We would be measuring this low to this high. Excuse me, not the high, but the candle close, right? So here to here. And then you buy on the pullback to the 0.5618, and then you take profit at the 1-to-1 extension. So from here, a 1 up, right? And you can just do a 618 as well, but that's why I said like I do it slightly differently than he does. And I believe I used this with a Litecoin trade that we did. There's been a couple trades that I've called like this, but it is a fun strategy. And let's see here. So for example, right here, we just saw this bear out. And it's not magical. It's just what is a good strategy? Is a good strategy magical? No, like a good strategy often has the biggest part in it. I would say the tenacity and discipline of the trader to continue executing it, right? All right, so right here, this is after this sell-off, this high is the highest high that we make before we start moving down. So I measure from this high, the actual high wick, to the close of the lowest candle. 0.5618 is where I would wait for that pullback and then enter into a position on that trade. And then again, I would be looking for this one. It's a -1 right here. That would be my take profit. You kind of want to be, kind of a little bit more conservative. You could do 618, but 1 and 2. And in fact, the idea that Hayden first introduced to me was you buy the 0.5 pullback and then you target a 2 movement, right? So I don't need actually all these fibs on the chart to make this work, but it means I don't have to measure both ways, right? It just depends on where I'm looking to trade. So let's take this movement right here, for example. Let's take the bottom of this movement and we'll measure to the high close of wherever we want. Target the 5-1, target the 0.5618 pullback, and then go for that 1-to-1 extension. It's pretty good. I like to see it. Justin out. Back to you guys.
How about a 3-bar play on Bitcoin on the daily?
I'm not going to lie. I know just about everything there is to know about trading, and I don't know how to trade a 3-bar play.
Is that right?
Quick Google. It's not
Paul
very
would be so
difficult.
disappointed in you, man.
So, okay. I actually have a YouTube video on the 3-bar play.
All right. I'll kick it over to you if you want.
Sure.
Can you show me?
Yeah, I can share my screen. Yeah, 1 second here. We'll do that. Okay, there we go.
All right, let me, for whatever ungodly reason, the Discord has decided to run away again. I don't know why this happens. Okay. All right, I'll just pull it. Oh, okay, because for some reason I unpopped it out. Sorry.
What
guys,
are blue candles?
I really do actively feel like my Discord is trying to get at me today. It's doing weird things. But anyways, I digress. Over to you, sir. I'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So when evaluating a 3-bar play, obviously you want to identify a igniting bar, which is what we have here on November 5th, yesterday. Bitcoin giving us a nice 10% igniting bar candle and preceding a resting bar candle. Actually, this is, in my opinion, this is very bullish because we didn't even come down to about halfway of the candle. Okay, so if I was to take this long trade here, I would be layering longs all the way down to about 15K and setting a stop probably around right below halfway. Okay, because if you close this candle body more than halfway, negates the 3-bar play. All right, and this may not be a 3-bar play. Actually, maybe a 4-bar play. You might get 2 resting bar candles and then a rip. So. But that's why you want to kind of layer buys, all the way down to about halfway and set a stop below the halfway point because that'll invalidate the trade. That's how I understand 3-bar plays. You guys...
All right, so could you repeat all that with your screen up now?
Oh, is my screen not up?
It is now, but just of the second.
Sure. All right, so I'm looking at a daily chart here of Bitcoin. I'm just looking at the ByBit chart. So to even have a valid 3-bar play, what we need here, the ingredients are a igniting bar, which is what we have here on November 5th, yesterday. We had a nice 10% green candle, and preceding a resting bar candle, which just means that the body of the second candle here doesn't go below halfway of the igniting bar candle. So in my opinion, this is actually extremely bullish right now because we're not even getting close to halfway through this candle. You could layer buys all the way down to about halfway and set a stop probably around this 14,700 area so you don't get wicked out. that's if I was to be trading this on the daily, this is how I would be setting up a trade on this. And this may not be a 3-bar play. It could actually just be a 4-bar play where you get one more resting bar candle, at the same low of this previous candle close. And we could get the igniting 4-bar play preceding the day after. And the same rules apply. So like, you don't want to see a Bitcoin candle close negating more than half of this igniting bar candle.
So let me get this right. You have to. What is the qualification prior to having that igniting bar? Because when you're using that word, and when I'm looking at what you have on your chart there, it seems to me is the definition a breakout candle with high volume above previous resistance? Is that the definition? Okay.
Yes. Or it could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a breakout candle. It could be just an igniting candle. Like say we were at the bottom of a trend and you're below the 200-day moving average, let's just say, and you saw some divergence happening and this obviously this wouldn't be a 3-bar play, but it would be after you saw that an initial impulse to the 200-day moving average. And let's just say we had a resting candle right below the 200-day, and it's always proceeding after an initial impulse up or an impulse down. You could have a 3-bar down as well.
Gotcha.
You need to look for a wide range candle compared to the rest of the candles.
Yeah, I mean, this is a concept. Again, what's really cool about trading is that everybody sees the same kind of profitable setups or patterns that repeat themselves in the market. And everybody has their own flavor and style and explanation and just way that they understand things. And I really like this because if one, if one realizes this, like when you realize this, I think all good traders do to some extent, they start to focus on, or they start being able to communicate a concept, even if their vocabulary is different, right? So one thing that I always like to see in a trade, particularly, I have defined a breakout before and pretty consistently as if you're looking for a price action indication, right? If you have a strong candle body close with high volume, that is the best generally indication that you can get from the market, whether or not this is going to be a breakout for real. We are going to appreciate in price and not have this massive pullback, or if you see, sorry, here, let me show you on the chart if you don't mind. All right, so right here, for example, we're looking at Bitcoin here. I have Bitcoin on the 15-minute here on ByBit. And again, kind of the intraday price action question or day trader question is, are we going to break to the upside here or break down? Well, although I don't like breakout trades, if I were to see, let's get a rectangle here. If I were to see a candle that closed like this above previous resistance with almost no wick, like basically a shaven candle, on high volume, that would be more often than not a breakout candle in my experience. On the other hand, if what I see instead is something that looks like a shooting star where it does look like this, but prior to close, it decides to just come on here and really shit the bed and put in this bearish candle, gets sold all the way down into, maybe even closes bearish. Well, that's almost always a rejection, almost always a liquidity grab, right? So when Bitcoin or any asset grabs liquidity, and there's always liquidity above highs, below lows, at support and resistance, at areas of high volume, on the boundaries of areas of high volume, those are where stop losses are. Those are where traders are placing their stop, unfortunately. So there's a lot of liquidity there. And anytime price taps into liquidity, one of two things happens. Either there is enough buying pressure in the case of a breakout that it chews through that liquidity. And by chewing through that liquidity, I mean triggering all of short trader stop losses and the buy stop orders of breakout long traders and the liquidity of those who genuinely wanted to get short at that position anyways, because they're taking that buy side liquidity from short liquidations, right? Or short stops. Because to exit a short trade, you have to buy, you have to cover, and that is exactly what an institutional trader would grab that liquidity and sell into. So, so breakout on good volume, always good. I like that I like the concept there too. I know that Paul has become quite enamored with those 3-bar plays, and I must admit, like, I have not yet taken the time to really understand what he meant by that. So thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Sure, no problem. Well, the S&P is starting to slide down again in the last 30 seconds of the close.
Dun dun dun.
The triple top theory of the market.
Crazy volatility going into this close right now.
Triple top theory, guys. I'm telling you. You heard it here first.
Sell into it,
Everybody's going to be talking about the triple top on Monday. I told you a week ago.
Do I have... I got like a... I don't think I have enough time even if I wanted to.
Oh.
Nope.
Well,
3 o'clock. Market's closed.
We didn't get the close we wanted, boys. Unless you're shorting.
Well, we still got Forex. If we think things are going to turn around, then look at the dollar on the look at the dollar on the hour. Dollar index.
Mm-hmm. 1 second. I want to pull open the futures. So let's go to. I'm going to pull open the CMEs. Let's do. Let's look at.
But anyway, guys, thanks for having me on the show tonight or today. Hopefully, I can join some other streams for you guys. And I really do appreciate the warm welcome here. All right.
Yeah. Thanks, man, for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Excellent. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we'll see some altcoins fly over the weekend. And happy days.
Happy days, my friend. Be good, man. Trade safely.
You too, guys.
All right, there it goes for the traditional markets. Looking at the daily here on the S&P 500 futures, and I do have the delay because I don't have the data feed. Let's see here. This is interesting. You know, this does look like a breakout chart. We've been in an uptrend. We have had some pretty strong initiation of selling, but we're just pushing right back up to the top on high volatility. I think, you know, looking at this objectively, I think you do have a pretty good chance, whichever way you want to trade this. So if you want to short this as a triple top, or if you want to long a breakout, I don't think, you know, just pick one, guys. Just pick one. And then just have a rule to flip direction if you feel that you've been wrong. Let's see here. Volume still moving down broadly with price. I feel pretty good about that short entry, but if we start stair stepping up here and then put in a big green candle, well, the idea is to get out before that big green candle, I guess ideally, but it really doesn't matter. Should we look for... Let's find one more trade setup and see if anybody wants to come on the stream before...
I might need to go.
What's that, man?
Did you already look at Atom USD when I was asking if that was the Head and Shoulders?
Of course not. Wally, like, I never look at the pairs of the US. You're like, I know, man. All right, let's check it out. Cosmos. Cosmos on the weekly, just pulling us up. We're resting on the 55 EMA. Minx is pushing down into negative territory, and Parallax just flipped negative as well. We put in a lower high here following the high of about 855. And so far, we have a higher high followed by a lower low, a low, really a swing low, a lower high, and not yet a lower low. So we do have the possibility here for consolidation, I think, after this pretty big expansion, honestly, of volatility. So this is something, just looking at this is a setup where I would take that reversal within the trend. Keep in mind, I've said this a bunch. When I take this setup, or when I take setups like these, I'm not looking for a higher high than the last one we formed. I just want to take this back up to about 60%, right? So again, that's an area that you might assume Fibonacci extension is just pretty better than nothing else to measure. Now, whether you want to go from the high to the low, I don't really like that. I'll do the candle body close here, this nice shelf. So right there, right, basically where I marked out, right, about $5.50, $5.50. I think that you could trade this bounce. And then if we break this high, buy the pullback on the next higher low. So
I'm sitting here laughing because I should have said 5-minute time frame. So did you?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get there, right? So the weekly seems to me in an area where it's gonna move up. The daily is overextended as well, putting in a bit of a double bottom and actually a higher low on the daily. Meso time frame, unfortunately though, although the daily and weekly are slightly oversold in my opinion, or in attractive buying areas, the 4 hour is turning over to the downside. We can see if we hold support here at 470-ish. We just have to wait and see. If I see a sign of strength, we can buy to the upside. The hourly certainly has a bit more room to come down. And now finally, if we work our way all the way down to the 5 minute, we are correcting after a intraday rally, or really an intra-week rally. It starts here. You can see we break above that 200. Our moving averages start moving up, just like Super Guppy would. Like Super Guppy is pretty ubiquitous as well, looking at this wave indicator. And I said this about Nano. I said this about IOTA. I said this about another pair yesterday. Breaking down below that 200. Even though this is the 205-minute exponential moving average, you can see it's pretty significant here as far as determining, are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend. So, not the time to enter right now. I do think this is what I think, guys. I think that Bitcoin is going to be stagnant with a tilt to the downside over the weekend. Could be wrong, and if we start seeing, Bitcoin exploding, then we'll trade in that direction. But I think everything's probably going to broadly correct, unless, well, I guess we'll find out. It doesn't really matter. I don't have a strong fundamental opinion to believe in that right now. Although, yes, I do. Yes, I do. It pains me to agree with Alex, but Alex points out something. Alex, earlier when you were talking about the fundamentals of the market, you pointed out something very important. People believe, I think a lot of people think that now the election's over and it doesn't really matter what gets contested or who wins. The drama may or may not be over. And the only thing that we really have to worry about is coronavirus and, who's gonna take the presidency. Those things are not the issues, right? Obviously, coronavirus is a medical issue. It is a health issue. But the bigger problem that nobody's really talking about or remembering or reminding themselves of is that the main thread here, as far as the markets go, is the same thread from 2008, 2009, right? Over the course of the 2000s, and really basically ever since the Central Bank of America was instituted, but certainly ramping up since the 1990s, the financial sector of the United States and the financial sector of almost every first world country began hoovering up almost all of the available or disposable capital in every first world country. And what did they do with it? They created derivatives with the help of retired physicists throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They created every single possible marginable or tradable product you can imagine. They thought of a myriad different ways to flip spreadsheets and show profit and loss in different ways, and just overall create this black box of insanity. There is very little available capital to apply toward anything that anybody in society wants, regardless of what side of the political aisle you're on, or if you're in the middle, because the financial sector has it all locked down, and they are utilizing those funds for their own purposes for profit. All money flows into the stock market. Fresh money from the Fed flows into the stock market. And we have a massively inflated balloon of shit, honestly, guys. Like, there is no true fundamental value. There's no real, beautiful thing, I guess, or benefit to society about all of our capital, which, in my opinion, capital is stored labor sitting in the financial sector. And this has created a overbloated government. This has created a kind of defeated and understaffed, understrength populace, because everybody feels like there's nothing they can do. I think those are the big problems. When we talk about Trump or Biden or coronavirus or China or anything, those are triggers that if you have a weak house, because of your budgeting is one reason why you would have a weak house, that can cause what otherwise would be maybe a stub toe to be a broken foot, right? Or death, right? Because you got sepsis and died. Hopefully you guys are following the analogy. So the fundamental issue is not really the news right now. It's how bad things have gotten that anything can blow the house over with a breeze. And that's not going to change. So I think the answer to this, for me anyways, is definitely hold Bitcoin, trade well. And if you were sleeping earlier when I was talking about other forms of income besides active income, go back and rewatch that, because we're all working from home now. That's going to increase. You guys watching, I want you guys to be successful and make it through, what we're all dealing with. And one way to do that is got to be on your game. Got to be disciplined. So that's about all I got, guys. It's a little too deep. I think it's time. I think it's a good place to call it. Good place to call it. UniUSDT. Mr. Ether, you're here in the chat with me. Just ask me, bro.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Hey, could you do USDT?
Thank you. Yeah, of course, Wally. I would love to. Okay, so we got Bupskis on the
Hey,
daily.
I gotta go, guys.
What's up?
I gotta go.
All right, later, man. Thanks for joining.
All right, thank you so much, guys. All have a good day and have a great weekend, guys.
You too, man.
You
Trace,
too, Alex.
thanks for coming on. UniUSDT. So is it? I still have all my Uni, right? I only claimed it like a couple weeks ago. So I have all my Uni. It's not like too much, but I was providing liquidity on Uniswap before anybody that I knew was doing it. So, so I got what? I think Jack's like, oh, you got an extra like $200 here for you. It's less now, but so we see basically the same thing that I see here from over here, right? We have a pretty steep sell-off. Price rebounds, is unable to make it over the average of the last 21 days. And the reason why that's critical is because the price at which we kind of started off here on Binance is important. Let's actually go over to, I don't think we're going to get different data, but I'm going to pull up the ChartX Pro kind of pro thing that I have access to here. And we're going to do, just going to pull open Uni, and I want to look at UniEth. Because I do believe it's the most. What about UniDai? Let's just try Uni.
I got Uni USDT on Binance Futures.
Info.uniswap.org. Sorry, I just got to get to the right trading pair. I want to see what it actually looks like on Uniswap on Binance. The interesting thing about Binance, though, is they have they don't have the same. They don't have the same liquidity. So we have $43 million in total liquidity here on the Uniswap ETH pair. That's up 13% on the daily. Volume, though, has dropped. Interesting. That makes sense, though, because the lower the price is. Yep. So hold on, wait. Let me think about this. Liquidity would increase if the underlying pair, if the quote currency was more ubiquitous. The base currency. There's more liquidity if there's more Uni available to trade. Volume indicates less people are trading it, though. So falling volume is usually bearish. Let's go to the chart. Usually they have the chart on here. I would hope to get it from ChartX, because these are the best ones. Come on now. What are you going to give me for Uni ChartX? All right, so enough of that autistic stuff. If we are able to put in more of a bullish surge here, then I think Uniswap's along. I think what's interesting about the Uniswap token is it hasn't really done its thing yet. And there are so many people. Here's the thing. Here's why it may or may not happen. Uniswap, I feel like most people feel that this is, and correct me where I go astray. Do you feel this way, Mr. Ether? Like Uniswap's going to have a hell of a run as soon as it gets its day, right?
Yes.
Now, why do you feel that way?
Because I love Uniswap.
Why? Why do you love the swamp?
Because it's decentralized.
So they've kind of have a hold on some of the scammers, right? Because they're a little bit centralized because they bless the tokens that could be on there, but it's a little bit Wild West because you can search if you want. Unlike other things that are completely decentralized with no sheriff in town to kind of point you to the safe saloon, right?
Do you remember for a while there when you would go to Uniswap? I want to make this point on what you said there, Wally. When you used to go to Uniswap, you would be forced to, and I think you still are if I connect a wallet here, but you would be forced to select a default list, right? Or one of the lists that they had. You either could search for the token contract address, or if you wanted to select from the list without doing that, Like they gave you the lists. You couldn't, you had to go in and manually edit them later. And they say on there, if you went and read like, how do I get my token added to the list? It basically said like, we will not allow any tokens that we don't want on here to be listed on here. Like, don't screw with us. And if you want to get listed, get a hold of us. Which the way that I read it, in that page, it was a page on Uniswap. It was, you could just leave a comment. So there was people publicly promoting their businesses and things. But it was just a very clear indication that the Uniswap mafia was well in control, or felt that they were in control. So there's a lot of stuff from this. There are a lot of examples of how you guys watched. You ever watch Revenge of the Nerds, Wally? Anybody?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
All
DeFi felt like the DeFi craze when everything was pumping, man. When we got to the back half of that, the sentiment that I felt was certainly like, how do I put this? It's like all of the administrators, it's like all of the coin developers, everybody who was a programmer or involved in code kind of got a little overly arrogant and got a little out there, right? Like weird stuff came up on Uniswap. We had Cowboy.finance. We had all of these scams, all these weird things. And the Ethereum developers started talking weird. It was an odd time. It was an odd time in life. And this is kind of what happens when you get very gifted computer programmers and then you give them like the reins of power, right? Yeah. One of those things. So I apologize. I rambled there so much that I forgot your original point, but I don't want to long Uniswap right here until we get above that 21 exponential daily moving average.
You asked why he liked Uniswap.
I did ask that. It is decentralized. It is cool. It is good to go. The only thing that I don't like about Uniswap is, I guess nothing too much really. Like I like Uniswap. The only reason I probably don't like Uniswap is because I sucked at using MetaMask. Like I had so many issues. Like they've fixed it now. Like they just fixed it. But the Ledger, MetaMask, Uniswap integration, terrible. So if anybody has trouble with that, I can tell you all of the tips and tricks for getting your Ledger to work on that device, all of them. But I don't. So sorry, my original point. Getting back to it, I get the thread now, guys. The reason why I don't think that it's a given that Uniswap has to have its day in the sun is because right now it got so distributed on everybody. Like so many people have Uniswap. It wasn't privately mined or kind of centrally controlled. It's pretty distributed, and with it being pretty distributed, it may be harder for it to have a massive run up to the upside.
Well, I shorted from $3.39, and I have a take profit, stop, whatever, at $2.84.
Good man.
But when I put it on, I was expecting Uniswap to go down to somewhere around, I was hoping for 67 to 69 cents. Because I thought it was just going to get sold, and what I thought it was going to be a lot quicker than what's happened.
So you don't like this slow bleed off? This looks pretty painful to me. Well, I am of a mind with you here. Here's what I'd watch. If we close the daily above the 21 exponential moving average, I would probably long the next pullback. Or, not saying that will be successful, because what can happen, again, this would give credence with that liquidity conversation I was just having. We could move sideways here in a long period of ranging. And what that would be is, again, indicative of the fact that there is too much retail in Uniswap because that liquidity needs to be centralized. I've noticed that when liquidity in altcoins gets centralized, that's when the pumps come. It's not until it's not until everybody that gets in before the pre-pump gets their positions filled. All right, let's see here. AJI sold his free Unify instantly. Sneaks 123, TRX USDT looks okay. TRX BTC might be heading down. And Alex actually really wanted to short TRX USDT. All right, so Jason's now gone. It's just me, Jack, Mr. Ether, and Wally. Did you guys want to hit anything else before we? I think it's time. I think it's a good time to close the stream out.
Yeah, we've been going 3 hours, so I think it's probably about time we start to hit the close. I don't know if you wanted to quickly look at the notes tab. There's a couple stories maybe we could quickly look at.
Let's see here. Probably not off the top of my head. Hold on just a second. I didn't have any of this music playing. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good. I think we had a lot of chatter back and forth. There wasn't too much dead space, and still have a decent amount of people watching at 64 likes. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. If you've been watching this whole time, you're still here after 3 hours. You got to hit that like button. We've had a lot of analysis, a lot of chart work today. This is pretty cool. I'm glad we also had a few people from the community here, like Wally and Ether and that Mr. Node guy. That was pretty cool.
All right, so one thing, gentlemen, 1 second here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get off Discord because I'm going to do a giveaway here on the air. We'll do the notes maybe in a pre-recorded over the weekend. Because I really do want to get to closing my positions out and getting ready for the weekend, particularly before the Forex candle closes. So
definitely cover a couple of last questions, like from Blue Box Territory, asking about your short few guys. But I'm sure you're about to do that now. So yeah, I'm gonna log off here. Shout out to everybody who showed up. Thanks to Mr. Ether and Wally who are still in here. But I'm about to dip. Good luck, Justin, with the finish. And see everybody maybe in the Discord this weekend. We're watching that UFC tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
let's get it, boys.
Thank you much. Thank you much.
Wally and Mr. Ether, thank you guys so much for being in here and being members of the community. Any closing thoughts there, Mr. Ether?
I like Bitcoin long to 20,000.
Let's frickin' do it, man. Like, do you realize, hey, by the way, you know, Mr. Ether, I want to give a huge shout out to you in particular, man. Like, you have been grinding away, building your strategy, trading it, spending hours back testing, hours live trading it on YouTube, unappreciated, you know, like unsung hero of the Discord and systems trading. I mean, and you're sticking to your strategy and it's working for you. It's quite an honor to have seen your progress and to see the tenacity and professionalism with which you approach the market, man. So thank you so much. An example to us all.
Thanks, brother.
Mm-hmm. Be good, man. All right. Let's go over here, guys. All right. You guys get to see a little bit. You guys get to see a little bit of the cave here. Let's see here. Let's get. I don't want to get too crazy with it. There we go. Yeah, you guys see? Do you guys see how terrible that is up there, man? When I redid the boards, let's just say that I had some technical difficulties. Okay, so a while ago on stream, I was supposed to give away this World Series of Trading swag, right? This cryptocurrency World Series of Trading from ByBit giveaways. And you know what? We never did that. And it's been sitting over there in the corner of the office for way too long. So we're going to go ahead and do those giveaways today. I do know for a fact that one of these items is reserved because we did that rap battle challenge in the comments. And I know that somebody has won that because there were 3 individuals that posted rap comments. So let's see what we got here to give away. All right, so we have, first up, this is a beautiful shirt. Like, honestly, I would like to keep this shirt, but it is too big for me. But the material that ByBit uses here is fantastic. So WSOT here on the front, and on the back, you get this nice, beautiful World Series of Trading. And I'll tell you guys what, the winner will also, I'll go ahead and, if you guys want, it's the preference of the winnee, but I will make sure that as many staff members as I can will come and put their either John Hancock on here, or if you feel that's a little too arrogant and not sweet, like I hope it's coming off, maybe just like a note. It's like, good looking out, thanks for being a member of the community type thing. So that WSOT t-shirt, customized by Kraken Cryptocurrency team. We'll get that one out. we have these as well. We've got the fun glasses. Now, although I really would like to save these for Alex, or excuse me, for Jason, for video shoots for Bitcoin weather reports, we're going to be giving these away as well. I have heard that these glasses increase or open up on ByBit a secret leverage option that you have to have those glasses on to see. So we have glasses as well. Finally, we have the Tesseract, the ByBit Tesseract. This is pretty interesting, like just a fidget cube toy. It's neat. I kind of like it. I don't want to get rid of that. But it's your guys' is $5 for $5.99. And the last item is a really nice, what I would typically call like a messenger bag. I'm telling you guys, what's really cool about this is that the quality is like super good. This is not made in China. This is clearly made in Singapore. So anyway, so we have those 4 items. And there are, how many people watching us on YouTube? See here? 76, so enough. So here's what we're going to do. In the Discord, so if you're not a member of our Discord, you can join at discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. In the Discord, we have a channel called technical analysis, right? So technical analysis. In technical analysis, what I would like for you guys to do, if you guys would like a chance to win these prizes, send it to you, I'll pay for the shipping, all that stuff. I want you guys to post your trade, your best trade of the week, right? So to be very, very clear, this is going to be a cutoff of the weekly candle. So you have to show the best trade that you have within a 1 week period. Let's actually get Logitech here and in. Perfect. No, not so perfect, but good enough. Yeah. And boom. Yeah, here we go. All right, so from the, and just to make sure we're very, very clear, I'm talking about the weekly candle right now. The weekly candle that on, I believe, Bitmex here opens at 13,755 and is looking to close around 15,500. So from, from Sunday or Monday morning, if you want to consider it that way, 0000 UTC to this Sunday, 0000 UTC. So within the 7-day period, I want you guys to post your best trade. It has to be it has to be a screenshot from your actual exchange account, right? We have to see, you can blur out like your username, but I need to see the position size, the actual exchange that it's taken on, the quantity of the contract, just a real trade, right? A real trade. So your open, your entry, and for an example of that, let's just look at this. I'd prepare you guys with that because this trade is gonna knock your socks, maybe. All right, here we go. So here you go. Right here is an example of a trade on ByBit. We can go to order history. And for example, you can see here that I have shorted 6,000 contracts on BTC-USD, the perpetual contract. So for example, let's pull this up here. So I would take a screenshot of my entries, which you can find under order history. And then for example, open positions. It has to be no, you know what? It can be an open position, right? So let's say that everybody has long-term swing positions on Bitcoin, or let's say the 4 winners have those. Whoever has the highest P&L in percentage, not absolute number. So I don't care if somebody's trading with $10 in their trading account and somebody's trading with $1 million. I don't care about the absolute P&L. I care about the percentage, right? Because I care about progress, not being rich. But who doesn't want to be rich? And if you guys would like to become rich, then I highly recommend you check out our educational courses on the website, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com, or just visit krakencryptocurrency.com to familiarize yourself with what we do beyond the live stream. Because we just do this for fun, honestly, guys, and to grow the community. What we really do is the back testing, is the trading, is the algorithms in the back room, and just the day in, day out trading, right? The day in, day out trading. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. I've been your, I guess, little bit overworked and tired host, Justin Wise, who cannot learn, who is very poor at setting up Discord scenes or OBS scenes when we're live on the air. Too distracted. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section down below on YouTube. Hit the bell icon, hit all notifications, do the things. If you're on Twitch, follow, give us a sub. If you're on DLive, follow, give us a sub. It helps us out. It lets us know that you guys enjoy the content. I will see you guys on Monday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode. And until then, guys, over the weekend, I want you to trade safely. I do think that the market is more likely than not to correct. I know that I've been saying that, but this is a technical setup for a good trade. Could be invalidated by the end of the evening. However, I do expect to see a lull in volume and volatility, and we're already seeing that. We saw that with the volume divergence. A significant section of the market has taken profit and moved out for the weekend, and the weekends largely are good if you have a range trading strategy. What I'm trying to say is it is time to break, it is time to put away your parallax, and it is time to pull out your Bollinger Bands in your time transformation. I will see you guys on Monday and in the Discord over the weekend. Come join us for UFC tomorrow evening around 8 or 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just come join us in the evening. We'll all be in the live chat, hanging out, doing our thing. And until then, for Cracking Cryptocurrency, I've been Justin Wise, guys. Cheers. If you guys are watching on DLive, don't go away yet. I am actually going to distribute those lemons that are in our chest right now. And over on Twitch, you guys can hang out for a sec too if you want. I will go ahead and actually, I'm going to raid a channel if you guys don't mind. Would you guys, anybody on Twitch, if you're still around, would you guys like to go watch Market Traders TV, or would you guys like to go watch some dubstep or drums? You got Seth Drums, Lost in House. You got Seth Drums, who's a great drummer. You got Lost in House, who is live music, cute girl, good dubstep, and then Market Traders TV, of course. It's kind of like watching the bang bus of live trading. No, by the way, Smiles J, you guys can put that in. You guys can post any trade from any exchange across any asset pair. I don't care if it's stocks, crypto, bonds. I don't care. Just post your best trade of the week. So I am going to default to Seth Drums because that's probably who I'm going to listen to on Twitch. So I'm going to go ahead and raid Seth Drums. And you guys have a great day. I think we're going over to Dubwise Renzo here on DLive. You guys want?